the other person out. Dr. Derek, answer your name. Let us know when we are going. Oh, she said 1 o'clock, right?
Recording in progress.
Mary, unmute yourself, please.
Sorry. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Marie Pendy. I am chiming in from the great state of Virginia, USA. I'm very excited and very thankful for another Sunday on the Dream Team webinar. We've gone around, we've acknowledged you, we appreciate you, and thank you, and we've listened and shared some of our stories. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll hand it over to Alfred. Carry on, Alfred.
Thank you, Sister Marie Pendy. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Dream Team webinar. My name is Alfred Chair, coming to you from the state of Maryland. Welcome to this great platform. We have an exciting show today, and I hope you will not regret being in here today. And as we said before, let us walk this walk together as a team. No one will be left behind, especially here at the Dream Team webinar. We pull it together. Thank you. Dr. P, over to you.
Thank you, welcome team. Thank you, Queen Marie. Thank you, King Alfred, for always being here, making us feel at home, making us feel welcome. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I know we came here today because we are excited for another fireside chat. Please be engaged. Come with your question. Come prepare. Let's chat. Let's put the flame burning. But before we do that, I'm going to call upon my brother, our brother, the one and only king in the Dream Team among the queens, Dr. Derek, to play us our signature tune. You know, ONPASSIVE mission is what our vision and mission is in it to win. It means everybody, no matter your background, no matter your strength, no matter your experience, no matter your age, your gender, your race, whatever the case, we are all going to win. And we were blessed and gifted by this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song that really embeds what ONPASSIVE is. And our own brother, Dr. Derek, has taken that video and embedded what we call our non-verbal communication, our non-verbal update. So over to you, King Dr. Derek.
Your next stop is ONPASSIVE.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yes, our next stop, our final stop, our only stop is ONPASSIVE. The train is leaving the platform, the door is closing, so stand clear because we are the internet, the future of the internet. I know you didn't come to hear me rant, but some housekeeping. If you don't see that you have a mic, please don't feel that you're not going to be allowed to participate. We just want to be able to hear our speakers today. So, but as all the co-hosts, please be mindful. Mute yourself when you're not speaking. And everybody that's not a co-host, you don't have access to mic today. At this point, when we get to the question and discussion time, the mic will be open. That's just some housekeeping. Without wasting time, I'm going to pass it over to Queen Debbie McCormick. Over to you, Mama.
Wow, good morning. Greetings to our wonderful family. Another lovely day here today. I want to start by thanking the welcome team. We appreciate you. And also thank our sister, Dr. Pat, for doing this every Sunday. And so far, we've had over 400 plus webinars. Isn't that awesome? That's a lot of Sundays. A lot of Sundays. And we
Mama Comic that one is from the birth of Dream Team. You know, where this is the first generation. I mean, the second generation. The first generation would have been a lot of webinar. From the birth of Dream Team in January 2022. Yes, that's the statistics. And I want to thank all of you and all our great presenters. And we have one of them today for making this platform moving. There's a quote, these 48 people that are in now, that's the core. They're here every Sunday. So we want to appreciate them as well. Over to you, Mama.
Thank you, Sapat. I'm so glad you chimed in with that because we see all these smiling faces. Rain or shine, we're here. And at this point, I'm going to say I would be so honored to introduce our word for the day's speaker. We just heard her voice in It to Win It. My darling, lovely sister, who is signing in from Germany. And she's my beautiful sister that God has gifted us with her through ONPASSIVE. Sister Lerato Shadare Prosperity. Welcome, sis. The microphone is yours.
Beautiful, sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so blessed to be here too, sis. Thank you so much. And it's so surreal that it's already 400 and something. And when you include other webinars, it's a lot. And the fact that we're here and we are just happy people that we're expectant. We know that the end of all this is glory and beauty. It's so wonderful. So like you said, we met wonderful people here. We made family here. It's such a beautiful place to be. And it's also a blessing. So first of all, I will just say that I want to thank God. I would say my sister, Dr. Benny, always says that, the first thing that we have to do is to just thank God that we're here. It's not by our own making or our own wisdom, but there's a creator who created us all and afforded us this opportunity to be here. And for me, this opportunity every day when I wake up, I take it as a cue to love better, to do better, to, strengthen myself so that how I apply myself and show up in the world is a person of power, a person of love and light. So thank you so much. It's been a long time. I haven't been here for such a long time, and it was hurting my heart, but I'm here today. And I don't even remember what our last conversation was about. I have a general idea because I lost my notes, but I'll just, nitpick from everything that we've spoken about. We were talking mainly about, of course, it's prosperity, having a prosperous mindset, but realizing that we are beings that are more than just this bag of, flesh. We are spiritual being, and we are mind, soul, and spirit. So everything that we do, we have to be mindful that it's not only, we're not only serving the flesh, so we have to grow in all aspects of our beingness and our self-expression and here on this planet Earth. And we spoke about our thoughts, we spoke about our words, that there are things that we can't touch, but those things affect our lives, like words. People will say, oh, but words are not things. And I'm like, words are things. You look in your life, And if you smack a child, they might forget it, but if you say a word to a child, that word will carry on with that child until they choose to break that word. Or if it's a negative word, if they choose to break it, then it will be broken. But words are very, very powerful. I was watching an experiment as well with water, that when you speak to water, water has memory. And if you speak something good to the water, it develops beautiful crystals. And if you speak something not good to the water develops something like very, very ugly crystals. It's the same thing as plants. If you speak to plants and you speak positive words, they thrive and they grow. But if you speak words that are not right, or speak words that are, ugly words, then those plants, they wither and they die. So words are very powerful. And I've always want to bring us to, to that, to just bring our attention to that. Everything that we do, words that we choose to use towards ourselves, whether it's our internal voice or our outside voice, words that we use towards ourselves are very important, because those will be the words that are building us, or helping us to be prosperous beings that we are, or words that will not make us prosperous, right? So, and I said we have to be mindful, because we're spiritual beings. So words are spirit, they carry a lot with them. And we spoke also about thoughts, to say your thoughts are very powerful. They have a power of creation. Everything was thought into being before it manifested into the solid things that we see, or matter. Everything was thought into being first. Every idea that we have is first formulated in the mind, and then it comes to birth and manifestation. But it's formed and it's birthed in our thoughts first. So our thoughts are very important, and we have to be very intentional and very mindful of what we choose to keep in our mind, right? Especially when it comes to prosperity, how we speak out to ourselves about money. How do we speak to ourselves about everything, about everything that we want in our lives? So words are we have to be selective of our thoughts and also our words, right? So today I'm just going to talk about, I thought that this topic is really, 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 really interesting to me, like, when it comes to generosity and prosperity. And I said, this is things that come together, because prosperity and generosity is together, right? There are those things that go together, right? That flow together, where you have that flow. And all those agreements, generosity agrees with prosperity. Those are the things that work, or they're together in agreement, right? So, and I thought that we should speak about that, just a generous spirit that we have to. I mean, most of us are generous, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We're generous with our time, we're generous with our knowledge. There's many people that are pouring into this platform, pouring their knowledge. If you equate that to money, we can't pay it. Some of us won't pay the webinars. I mean, they just mentioned that we're here, we have 400 and something webinars. Paying for knowledge, or paying for whatever everybody's pouring into this, it would be a lot of money to sit here, right? I know one webinar would be costing you like 2,000 euros, or $2,000, or $1,500. So count that 400 times and check how much you would have spent. Yeah, but we're generously here, because our motive and how we feel about our company, and how we feel about each other matters. And we know that we're sharpening one another, and we're here for a good cause, and for everything that will enrich our lives. So that's why we're here. That's why we wake up and we're here, or we're busy, we rush, and we're here together to say, guys, we're pouring into one another, and it's not going to nothing. Everything that you give generously always comes back, and it comes back even more, and in other ways. It might not come back as us sitting here, but there's another way that it will just turn back and come to you. I know that also for a fact in my life. I will give something, and something will return back to me, not in the form that I sent it out, because the intention behind it was love, the intention behind it was light, and it will come back to me multiplied, right? It's a law of, my sister Yvonne is saying, the law of reaping and sowing. Right? So it will come back to me in other forms and everything. And so generosity is so, it's the spirit, or it's a beingness, a form, or how we choose to express ourselves, that is very, very important when it relates to prosperity. We cannot be prosperous, and I'm not talking only about financial prosperity. We cannot be prosperous if you're not generous, whether it's with our time, whether it's with our emotion, whether it's with our wisdom, sharing our wisdom, sowing into people's lives. I remember there was a time there was somebody, I didn't even know that I gave somebody this thing, right? I said this to somebody, and I just said words to this person. And years later, she's like, there was a time when I was really, really down, and what you said to me and what you saw in me made me want to fight for my life even more. And now I'm pushing towards my dreams and my goals, and I didn't give up because of that one word that you said to me. That thing, my heart was so filled. I was like, thank God that I'm an instrument in somebody's prosperity, in somebody's well-being. I sowed something so positive in somebody's life. Oh my God, I was so humbled that God was able to use me in that way, or I was used in that way to speak life into somebody's life. So some of us here, we have to be generous with our wisdom, with our words. What are we sowing into our family? What are we saying to the people that we love? Not even only the people that we love, that sister maybe that is down. Sometimes we live in a first world. In a first world, somebody will see you, dejected somewhere and crying. They won't even ask what's going on. Be that person that will say, sis, it's going to be okay. Whatever it is, be okay. Just wipe your tears. Life will be fine. Just one word to one person. You don't know what that one word will do. Somebody was going to commit suicide, but the fact that you saw them, you didn't just pass like everybody else. You saw them. It will be that thing that says, somebody saw me and they spoke into my life. You'll be that person that will preserve that somebody's life and generations after that. Right. So it's very, very important for us to be generous with our time, with everything, whatever that God gave to you, your talents, your whatever, your beingness, to sow into people's lives and enrich their lives. Right. So even the word of God will tell you that the person that is generous you can't be in lack if you're generous. And generosity goes beyond money. So people think that it's only money that somebody's, no, generosity, you can be generous in so many forms. As a wife here, you can be generous. You can be that instrument that brings prosperity into your family or your partner, whatever, to your children. As a mom, you can be that instrument that brings so much worth, to your children, right? Being intentional with how they grow up and what you pour into them, and being, making a research, finding out what is it that I can do so that my children can be the best versions of themselves. How do I, because we're raising children, but not many people are intentional of how they raise their kids. All right, because some of us, we raise our kids traditional. It's like kids are here, okay, they're seen great and wonderful. We take them to school. They're the responsibility of the teachers. Okay, when they come back from school, you don't even ask, what did you study? What did you learn? What was poured into you? For my children, I ask because, the curriculum in school, yes, I follow the curriculum, but I'm very intentional about asking who pours into their life and what words they said to my kids. And I ask them, and those things that stick out to me, what they would say back to me, and the words that will stick out, I'm like, okay, fine, let's see if these words are true. Do I like what was said to my kids? So if it's something that is not right, then I correct it immediately. All right, I correct it immediately. So that, yes, so I correct it immediately, and I'm intentional about what goes into them. So and that requires me being very generous with my time, because we're busy. All of us are busy, but we have to be intentional about things that matter to us. All right, we have to be very, very intentional, especially when it comes to growth and being the best versions of ourselves with our families. Right, some of us were sowing into our partners. All of us are here, we are trying to live our best life and grow and be the best versions of ourselves, but it will take one word from you as a partner to say, don't give up. It will take one word from you as a partner to say, God, you are wonderful. Just one word. There are people who, for them, they love that affirmation, and that drives them. So it's our duty to learn the people around our lives and pour into their lives the way that it will matter to them. So we pour into their lives, we say those words, we speak those things into their lives, right? And that takes you to be generous. It takes you to have a generous spirit, to think like that, to say, you know what, I'm going to be generous with my time. How do I use my time? My research, what can I do as a person to pour? What can I do to be this vessel that pours into my family? And, not just every day is every day. Let's just move on. Life is happening. No, just being intentional and choosing. And it doesn't have to be something major. I know we're all busy here. It might be something that every day you're taking 10 minutes to check how you can intentionally pour something very good into your family. Just 10 minutes, make a research and say, you know what? Today I'm going to tell my children that they're great children. I appreciate them. Today I'm going to say, I appreciate or something, you speak those words and you point to them. You don't know what that is going to bring. And then when you're out there, how do you generously share yourself with the world? at your workplace, you're that person that brings peace, and you have to be intentional with that. You have to be intentional. You're that person that brings peace. You're that person that soothes people. You're pouring into them like that. All these things come back to us, and then those are the things that agree with prosperity, because the spirit of prosperity is attracted to everything that agrees with it. You understand what I mean? Everything that agrees with it, it attracts all those things. Then your life is richer. That's when we talk about true prosperity and thriving. Your life is richer. It's not only money. It's not only financial. You're only rich in finances. You're rich also relationally. There are people who are poor relationally. They don't relate with anybody. They are lonely. But we want to be well-rounded people where we know that we are prospering in every aspect in every aspect of our lives. So we have to be intentional, right? Meaning that we have to be selective to say, okay, fine, this 10 minutes, how can I build this thing where I'm building this prosperity and I'm generous. I'm doing a research. I'm doing this, at my workplace. I'm that person that when people want peace, they can come to me and say, sis, peace, can you give me, you bring people down, you're sowing into them very, very positively, right? And all those things then build us up, like I said. All those things build us up, and then it creates a free channel of free flow into your life where all these beautiful things are going to be attracted to you. Have you ever been around some people who have this light around them? They're generous, they're loving people, they have this energy around them, and beautiful things seem to always be happening for them because they're just this light bearers. There are people like that, where when you're around them, you are just energized. When you're around them, you just feel this lightness. When you're around them, there are people like that, and they're rich in that. And it's so beautiful to have those beings in this world. We need people like that. When you're around them, you know that if I go there, if I go to Sister Debbie, I know I'm going to come back filled. I'm going to come back refreshed. When I go to Sister Mary, I know that there's a word that she's going to say. I'm going to sleep well. Even if I'm striving or struggling with something, I will sleep well. I'll be encouraged. If I go to Dr. Patience, she'll say something up to me about finance, and I'll be, you'll be wised up. You'll know your life is sharpened. There's something that, they bring something into your life. So let's be those people. And to be those kind of people, we have to be very intentional. We have to be very intentional. We have to start now putting things in place in our lives, selecting time to find out how can I sharpen myself and be that person that adds value. You understand? And then how do I cultivate that spirit of generosity in all facets of my life? Because that spirit of generosity will now start bringing everything. It will start creating a free flow in my life. It's one of those things that attracts prosperity. It attracts goodness into your life. So let's do that. That's our homework this week, to say every day we have to contribute positively to life. Every day we have to contribute positively to everything around us, whether to a plant, whether to whatever, contribute positively to, and our beingness have to add value. So thank you so much for this time. And in case somebody didn't tell you that they love you, I want to tell you that you are loved. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sister Lorato. Yes, we love you, and we love everyone who is here, who joins any of the webinars. We love you. And if I heard you, says you talked about prosperous mindset, and positivity always leads to a positive outcome. Yes, let's look at children. When you speak to them in a very nice way, they respect you back in return. And the generous mindset is what you get. We are generous with our time, as you rightfully say. And what do we get? The generous outcome of us spending time, especially Sundays. And the one Sunday that our brother Michael is always spending with us, to make sure that we have that positive mindset, to make sure that whatever we get, he gives us a lot of positive encouragements that in turn leads to everybody else benefiting from it. And he's always very generous. We come here every Sunday, and he has been generous with his time. Once every month, he said, rain or shine, I will be with the dream team. And he's always here. So I'll pause here and say, Brother Michael, thank you. We welcome you. And we promise we always will give you time to go back and do some laundry after you finish chatting with us. But in the interim, please just say hello to the team before we proceed, please.
Well, hello, team. Thank you so much, my dear Debbie. It's wonderful to be here with everyone. It's always a pleasure. I love this team. I love what Dr. P and others have done over the years and continue to do. It's good to be consistent. And it's good to be consistent. And that's what I would say about this team is that you guys are very consistent in your message, in your approach, very consistent, in being there, supporting others, helping others, giving of yourselves, and definitely pouring out positivity into others, into the lives of others. So, that's a great thing. So I'm certainly glad to be here with you today, and I look forward to our discussion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brother Michael. You just open us our hearts with those sweet, lovely words. And it's going to be a lot of fun chatting with you today. And we call on everyone and anyone, if you had not participated in having a fire chat with Brother Michael, please have your question brief and straight to the point and ready to fire, because we're just chatting here as a family. It's not like a question and answer thing. Questions and discussions, not statements, a question, and precise and concise. I will be working with my sister Lorato, and one person will ask a question at a time and pass it to the other. And any leader who had questions at one point, if you can just indicate in our group, I will let you go ahead. But in the meantime, I'm going to call on Sister Lorato to start with the first chat. Please, sis, over to you.
Sis, I'm gonna hand it back to you because I have to look for my notes, please.
All right.
Thank
Not
you.
a problem at all. Thank
Nice
you.
to see you, my brother. I had to say that.
And Dr. Derek, I have a question, and I'm going to just call randomly after my question. If Sister Lorato is not ready, Dr. Derek, you will be up next. So I have.
This is putting us on the spot today.
Well, remember, Brother Michael just said this is the one platform where consistency is there and surprises come, right? When you least expect them, they do pop up. So
you guys have decided to surprise us. It will be fun. Let's go. It'll be fun.
I have a very unusual question for Brother Michael. I don't know if you are aware, because it's difficult for my question for a lot of people to say if they know, that we have about 6 to 8 platforms that we work together with, Brother Michael. So I'm talking about being consistent and being able to get guidance on how to get to the next level. And those teams that we work with, it's on a daily basis. There's not a single day that goes by and we do not attend a webinar. On Mondays, we have Mindset Monday with Miriam Edwards, who is also part of this team. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have Deep Dive, which is Dr. Derek with a couple of people from this team. On Wednesdays, we have Julie Pierre, Empowering Humanity, and also part of this team. And on a weekly basis, every day, we have One Global Movement, which is by Yvonne Mundi. And on Thursday mornings, we have Malaysia, Singapore, part of this team as well. And on Sunday, we have Niger Forum and the Dream Team combined as well. Now, I see something popping up around that says the top. And all these teams that I've mentioned are not there. And I want to ask you, Brother Michael, how can we help to get the people who promote all these webinars that I've listed to get their YouTube channels to feature in on the top? Over to you, Brother Michael, and thank you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. We're just going for it. No warm up. Let's just get in there. Well, Hmm. Let me see if I can be a politician.
Did I put you on the
Um,
spot? I'm sorry.
I'm going to try and be a politician. This we have to understand uh, that is not a corporate um, platform or corporate link. Okay, that's not what that is. Okay, so that is controlled by someone. I would assume, right? Someone created that. It's not corporate. It's not the company. It's not on passive link or on passive channel, on passive rotator, etc. Okay, so personally, I wouldn't be too concerned, about getting exposure from that link. I would just continue to do what you guys been doing, right? Because people are people. Okay, let's just say people are people, right? And if you're doing what you're doing uh, from a love standpoint, right? It's not for exposure. It's not for, hey, this is who I am, blah blah blah. Then you don't worry about that type of stuff. For example, I don't have a YouTube channel, right? I don't really have a social media presence, right? For myself personally, right? I don't care, right? So I have no intention. I mean, I could set up a YouTube channel. I can run videos, 24 hours a day if I want to. I just choose not to. It's not necessary for me personally, right? I just do what I do when I do it, with whom I do it. I show up where I can show up when I'm available, etc. And I leave it at that. If one person come and they hear what we have to say, hey, fantastic. If it's a 10,000 comes, so be it. But I don't worry about all of that stuff because that's not what I'm here for. And so I believe the same applies to you guys, that you're not here for that. We're not here for fame, maybe some fortune, right? But certainly not the fame. So I wouldn't worry about that. Could I reach out and encourage that your links and all that be included? But I just wouldn't, I just wouldn't go there. You've been doing what you've been doing so far successfully. Just continue along that line, and don't worry about what you're included in or not included in and all of that other fancy stuff. At the end of the day, what we want to see is for people to be successful, right? And so we will just continue to do what we have to do to ensure that is the case, right? So I just wouldn't worry about that stuff. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Michael. That's awesome. I'm not going to paraphrase anything because I see my co-moderator seem to be ready.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll let you fire this.
Well, the thing about it, if it was a corporate channel, then that's different. Then I would say by all means, you ought to be there, and all of the teams that you've mentioned to be there. If it was corporate, right? If it was run by corporate, that isn't the case, right? So I just wouldn't concern myself with it.
Thank you for the clarification, Brother Michael. We have no idea. We're just thinking that maybe it's something, and you've clarified it very well. So we're all listening. So over to you, Sister Lorato, please.
I
And
still didn't find my notes, but I'm gonna ask my brother Michael this question because I love how he thinks. I love his mindset and how he thinks and how he, explains certain things. So, my brother, this is a question from you. Ne? I just spoke about generosity, and I wanted to know how has generosity contributed to your success and to your prosperity. And I'm saying prosperity very, because it, like we said, it's not only financial prosperity that is prosperity. So I know one time you mentioned for you the most important thing in one of your talks, that for you the most important thing is time freedom. You want the freedom, and I would assume that that's also part of how you are prosperous. You want to use your time, how you want to use your time. So please tell me, expatiate on that for you. One, what is prosperity to you, and how has your generosity contributed to your prosperity?
Okay. Yeah. See, this is why I love coming here. The questions are not, well, how much money am I going to make, and when am I going to make the money, and so on. So I love coming here for that. These are great, again, two great.
Your advantage PPO plan.
Right?
The only doctor in the country who accepts.
Okay. So prosperity, right? Well, first of all, the spirit of prosperity, that has nothing to do with money, right? First and foremost, okay? The spirit of prosperity is more to do with your relationship with God, um, you know, uh, and I believe that if you put that first and foremost in your life, then everything else that you desire, the good things, of course, will fall in place, right? So for me, I put God first. Okay, that's number one. And so I found that and it took me a while to get there. Okay, I didn't always have God first. Okay, so don't get me wrong. But it took me a while to understand that that's the beginning of success, the beginning of wisdom, the beginning of prosperity as people related to finances as well, right? So, once I decided to make that my priority, right, and seeking Him first, then the success started to line up, okay? Meaning that I'm able to think clearer, thoughts would come to me, ideas would come to me, direction would come to me, the right people would come to me, you know what I mean, and find myself surrounded by the right people because there was a time where they just weren't the right people. They were coming for the wrong reasons, and when you're very, you know, trusting and all of that stuff, you can get some folks that kind of, pull the wool over your eyes, so to speak, right? But the bottom line is that I've always tried to be generous with everything that we have, right? Open for homes, people come, blah blah blah, enjoy themselves, etc. Generous with our time, whether we're coaching, you know, uh, high school students, various clubs, etc. Whether we're just encouraging, kids, tutoring kids, you know what I mean? Just whatever we can do to help the situation, right? We try to do that as best as we possibly can, uh, and looking for nothing in return. I always find that to be the key. Not doing it because of what's in it for you, not doing it because, oh, I can get this, not doing it, because someone's going to pat you on the back. You know what I mean? It's what are you doing when no one is watching? You know what I mean? What are you doing when no one is cheering you on? What are you doing when no one is hyping you up? You understand? Right? And so that tells me, you're at your best, you're at your most authentic self when it's not for the cheers, right? It's not, oh, look what he's doing. Oh my God, he's such a good man. Oh, blah, blah, blah. When none of that is there, it's just you and you're just focused on your activity, right? And you're giving you that attention that the activity deserves, traveling, hours just to volunteer your time, you know. We've done a lot of volunteering over the years within the community, etc. Not looking for anything, right? Just giving, right? And so I found that in doing that, a byproduct is what comes your way. A byproduct. It's not what you're looking for. It's not what you're in it for. But it's like, oh, okay. You find that maybe you spend some money doing something, right, to help others, whatever, and then it's like, oh, this door just opened up, and some other avenue, came your way that you weren't even thinking of. You weren't even looking for it, right? You weren't even seeking it, right? So we see a lot of things happen in our lives, and some things that we even call miracles, to be honest with you, right? Because we're like, whoa, where did that come from, right? And so we just make having that right relationship. So I'm not talking about going to church. I'm not talking about praying 10 times a day, or you know what I mean. It's just having that right relationship, with your Creator, you know, and as a family, you know, that's what we do as a family. So you talk about, you know, contributing positivity into the lives of others and so on. And you mentioned, you know, about your children and all of that. I mean, that's what we do. You know, our lives revolved around them. You know, maybe a little bit too much. You know, but it is like we spend a lot of time with our. We have videos upon videos upon videos of our children, them in various activities and doing different things, and you know what I mean. My wife loves taking pictures. He just, you know, I can't wait for you guys to meet her one day, right? She loves taking pictures. Maybe because the camera loves her. I don't know, but she loves taking pictures. So she has 1,000,001 pictures of the children, them at various stages, and all of that stuff. You know, we just put a lot of time into them because we believe by doing that, we are the ones that are in control. We are the ones that's instilling the values that we want for them, and not leaving it up to the school system, not leaving it up to others, friends, and so on and so forth. You know, so we do that. So we breathe into them the life that we want for them. You know, and so and we, you know, we kind of, I would say that kind of goes out to, you know, our inner circle, so to speak, right? So other parents, them and their families and their kids, and you know, our kids and friends and so on, they know where we stand and about, you know, everything that you can think of. You know what I mean? So again, it's just being who you are, right? At the end of the day, right? Just being who you are. Just try to do what you can to help others. You know, whether something is in it for you or not. You know, just being real with people, because it's hard to find that in today's economy. It's very, very hard to find it. You know, more people are fake than they are real, unfortunately, right? But in spite of that, you know, I think you just continue to be who you are, be who you believe God intended you to be, right? And so when that light shines through you, others will see it, they'll gravitate towards you, you know, all of that. And as a result, success comes, right? Success is a byproduct, it's not the target, it's not the desire, but it comes as a byproduct of you just going about doing your thing, you know, and people, you know, people resonate with that, right? You know, you find that people are attracted to that, you know, because it's not the norm. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've done stuff where people's like, well, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Why not? I mean, if I can, why not? You know what I mean? You know, so you know, I won't go into examples, but the bottom line is that when you are generous with your time, generous with your energy, your knowledge, you know, all of that, it can only bring good fruits, right? It can only bring success. It can only bring prosperity. You know, you have some folks who are just, you know, mean. We just watched a thing last night on John Paul Getty. Okay, you know, he was the richest man in the world at the time, you know, and he he was just mean, you know, stingy. You know, probably is the word, right? But yet he was the richest man, you know, and so when you look at that and say, well, okay, but he was surrounded with so much wealth, right? But he had no love, though. You know what I mean? You have all of this, but no one was there for you in the end. You know what I mean? And that's not what I want. I want people to be around me for the right reasons now and in the future. Like not just, you know, at the end, you know, have all these people showing up at your funeral. You won't be able to see them. Okay. So, you know, I want to see them now, right? I want people to be appreciative of us now. You know, and so it's just good to be good. You know what I mean? It's just good to do the right things when you can. And it's not about having access to you know, large resources and none of that stuff, right? You can be the poorest person in the world, and yet you are very generous. Okay, you could be the poorest person in the world, and you are very, very generous. You're generous with the little that you have, right? You're generous with your time. You know what I mean? So it's not about money. It's not about how much you have, or when I get all this money, I'm going to do this. No, right? No, it's what can you do now, right? Because if you can do the good now with the little that you have, imagine how much more you'll be able to do when the wealth comes, when the reward comes. You understand? So it starts now. It doesn't start, well, when I get there. No, it starts now. And so I find that when you do that, good things starts to happen in your life. It's inevitable, right? It's inevitable that that will be the case. So certainly, I believe being generous in everything that we do has certainly led to our success in a variety of things, right? You could say everything we touch, turns to gold, right? But not because of of ourselves per se, right? But I believe God, gives you the ability, and as I said, put people in your life that makes the task that much easier. You know what I mean? Take on passive, for example, right? When we saw on passive, we were like, wow, this could help a lot of people, right? It could help a lot of. Now, did we know that we'll be here 6 years later? No, absolutely not. That wasn't the plan. You know what I mean? We certainly didn't think that would be the case. But nevertheless, here we are, and we still believe strongly that people will succeed with it, right? But at the end of the day, when we see something good, we're going to tell people about it. If it's not good, you're not going to hear it from me. You know what I mean? But if it's something good, we're going to share it with people. Because that's just who we are, and we're not going to change that for nobody. You know what I mean? And so, if people are being true to themselves, if people are striving to be the best versions of themselves, then you can't help but to succeed in life. It's just that simple.
Well said, my brother. Thank you so much for that answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sister Loretta. At this stage, I am going to call on two individuals to be ready. Dr. Derek, if you're ready, go ahead. If not, I'll call on Sister Marie Pendy. Any of the two who is ready, please proceed. Unmute yourself and proceed. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Michael, for coming persistently, consistently. And we do appreciate the wealth of knowledge that you give us to uplift us every opportunity that we have. I wanted to say something about the top dot live that Debbie had listed the channels that we have that are not there. I think the misconception which we had was that before O Connect, our old O Connect that is being revamped right now, Ash used to have this webinar, and we used to have our webinars on the top dot live. So we thought all along that top dot live is from corporate. And that's why maybe me and a few hundreds of us, including Debbie, were wondering why some of these, our webinars, are not on the top dot live. And thank you for clarification. So that's why. So you've said things, so many things. What can you tell us today about the power of persistence as it relates to ONPASSIVE? Thank you.
The power of persistence. Well, it's good to be persistent. Okay. In everything that you're doing, right? You have people who try for years to succeed, and some people walk away. Somebody's like, oh, you know what? Don't tell me nothing about another business. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about that. And they just give up, right? And so for me, I look at the options, right? What options do people have, right? When you really think about it, right? people have been sold, the idea that you need to go to school, get a good education, go out there, get a good job, and you're going to be fine, right? And a lot of people have done that. Millions of people have done just that, and yet they're not fine, right? So to me, well, something is wrong with that. Okay. Um, you're going to find the success, the financial success that you're looking for. You're going to find it in having some sort of a business. Okay. It's not going to be from that 9 to 5. Okay. It just isn't. We've seen people, we know of, whether it be your parents, you know what I mean? Your peers, even yourself, that you've worked for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and you still haven't reached there yet, right? So many people are in their 60s and they can't afford to retire, yet they had a good job, right? If you think about this, right, you have people who, you know, some people make $100,000 a year, right? And yet they still don't have enough when it comes to retirement. You've got some folks who, make 70,000, 40,000, 30,000. You know what I mean? Whatever the number is that people make at their job, right? Because your income normally dictates your lifestyle, right? So you don't expect someone who makes $30,000 a year to be living $100,000 a year lifestyle, okay? And you don't expect, I say expect because some people actually try to do that. Okay, big mistake, right? You have some folks who make $250,000 a year and they try to live $1 million a year lifestyle. You understand? So it's not so much about the dollar amount, but you have to take the dollar amount and the lifestyle and put the two together, and they have to agree. If they don't agree, you got problems. Okay. So I'm saying all of that to understand that the majority of people are employees, right? We work for someone, we make our money that way, but it's very, very difficult to be financially free when you are dependent upon the amount of time that you can put out there in order to generate income, because you're limited. Okay. You have to be able to take advantage of leverage. Okay. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You have to be able to take advantage of leverage, meaning that I have to be able to multiply my time. Okay. And we know there's only 24 hours in a day. Okay. There's only 24 hours, right? But you have to be able to multiply it so that you get more hours than there possibly is, right? How can I get more out of 24 hours when there's only 24 hours in a day? Okay. And so this is where, having some sort of business come into play. So for example, a person says, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to employ 100 employees. Well, guess what? If each of those employees working 8 hours a day, so now that business owner, right, they're now able to monetize, right? 8 hours times 100 people, that's 800 hours a day. Yet there's only 24 hours in a day. So you see how that owner is leveraging, okay? He's using leverage to their advantage, okay? And so that's what people have to do. You have to be able to find that. And so in order to find that now, you have to go searching, okay? And it's going to take persistence. You're not gonna just show up and the very first one, oh, it's a winner, right? It doesn't work that way. It'd be great if that's all it took, right? But sometimes we have to go through multiple businesses, multiple opportunities to find that true gem, right? That's going to lead us to where we're trying to get to. But if a person isn't persistent, you know what I mean? Then they won't get the results that they're looking for. We've seen it time and time again. When we think of great inventions, most of these inventions didn't come about the first time around. You know what I mean? It's like being in a science class and you're doing an experiment. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to go through a few experiments to kind of get it the way you want it to be, right? Maybe you decide to, oh, I saw this new hairstyle, okay, and so I want to go do it. And sometimes, it takes a few tries before you get it right, or you have a new recipe that you're trying to try, right? And sometimes it may take a few tries before you actually get it right. You know what I mean? You're trying to bake something, right? It doesn't matter the example, it's always the case, Someone's trying to learn, let's say trading, for example. Okay, a lot of time it doesn't work out the first time around, but if you're persistent enough, you will get success, right? We know the story about Colonel Sanders, the KFC guy, and how many no's that he received, hundreds of no's he received before someone finally said yes, right? So if he wasn't persistent, we wouldn't have KFC today, right? And the list goes on and on with all the various examples of things that we have today that we wouldn't have if that person, that individual or group wasn't persistent, right? Mark Zuckerberg and the whole Facebook team, you understand? If they weren't persistent, you guys wouldn't be all over Facebook. Okay, it wouldn't bother me because I'm not there, right? But for most people, you know what I mean, they wouldn't have that, right? And the same thing could be said for YouTube and Microsoft, Apple, right? The whole idea of Stephen Jobs, you know what I mean? Again, that company was basically out, done, finished, you know what I mean? But yet, Stephen Jobs came back and, things change and what have you. The bottom line is there's countless examples that are there for us to look at, right? To see, right? And learn from, to understand that this is what it takes to become being successful is hard work. People think it's easy. Someone may make it easy for you, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, right? Someone has to put the hard work in. Okay, we come to ONPASSIVE, right? Okay, someone has to put the hard work in. Someone has to be persistent. If our CEO wasn't persistent, it would have been a wash even before COVID, right? We would have been done years ago. You understand? But because of persistency, when you are determined to achieve something, you're going to keep on pressing forward until you get to that goal, right? That's just how it is. Someone says, you know what? I weigh, 300 pounds. I want to drop down to 200 pounds. It's not easy, but is it doable? Absolutely. There's countless of examples of people who have done it. So that means it's possible, right? Once you see that something is possible, then there's no reason why you can't achieve it. What it's going to take now is being persistent. You're going to have that, don't give up attitude to make sure you get there, right? And that's what we see. That's what we see in ONPASSIVE. We see a CEO who's determined to make sure that he uplifts humanity. We see that in him, right? Because if that wasn't the case, he could have packed it in and said, you know what, guys, I tried. I failed a few times. I stumbled a few times. It's not working out. I'm tired. I need to go spend time with my family and just enjoy the rest of my days. Sorry, bye. And that's it. Done, finish. But that's not the case though, right? Hey, we've had some issues, we had some detours, but you know what though? We're still gonna get there, right? We're driving and we have to get to a destination and it's pouring rain and you can't see. Do you just turn around and go back home? Or do you say, no, I said I'm coming. I'm determined to get there because I want to be there, right? So I'm going to do everything possible to get there. So if it means that I have to drive a little bit slower because it's pouring rain, if it means I have to pull over, right, and let the rain die down, you know what I mean, till the visibility is now better, whatever the case may be, but I'm determined to get to that destination and nothing's going to stop me. You understand? So when people have that determination and they're persistent, no one can stop you, right? Only God himself, right? You understand? No one can stop you. If it's not God that's in your way, then you ain't got no issues, right? You will make it. You know what I mean? And so we've seen it. I've seen it in my personal life. You know what I mean? I've seen, my children, them, being determined. Okay, I'm playing this sport, and you know what? I don't think this is going to be it. So no problem. I will switch. I'm going to come over here and do this instead. And, they end up succeeding in something else that wasn't even a thought. Right? That wasn't the plan. You understand? Or you're in school and, this is the major that you're in. And for whatever reason, nope, not for me. I'm going to do this instead. And you end up succeeding. Right? I mean, I changed my major in university multiple times. Right? And which turned out to be a blessing, right? Because now that gave you so much more knowledge in other areas that you weren't even thinking of. You know what I mean? And so all of that come together to make you who you are today. So it is very, very, very important to be persistent. not just in an ONPASSIVE, but just in your day-to-day life. You can't just be willing to just give up as soon as something goes wrong. You can't. You'll never succeed like that, right? It just life just doesn't work that way. You have to try and try and try and try and try, right? Because if it's important to you, now if it's not, if it's just something that's frivolous, it's like whatever. But if it's something that's important to you, I take my financial freedom, my time freedom, my total freedom. I take that very, very important and serious. That's serious matter. You understand me? And I would not let anyone get in my way. No one at all. Okay? Zero. You understand? Because first and foremost, I believe God is for me, so he's not going to get in my way unless he sees that I'm going down the wrong path. Right? Other than that, who's going to stop me? No one. Where there's a will, there is a way. So it's good for people to be persistent if you're serious about, want to have that freedom. It's there for you. It is there for you, right? And so we see that in ONPASSIVE, that if it's from the top, right? If it's from the top, it's from the CEO coming on down, then hey, why shouldn't we continue to be persistent as well? Why shouldn't we continue to be persistent in our paying attention, in our, making sure that we know what's going on? You know what I mean? Being engaged, right? All of that, right? This has given us so much time to really learn a lot about ourselves and about the people around us. Because I see some people say, man, I should never gotten that person involved in ONPASSIVE. You know what I mean? Because now I see who they really are. I didn't know they were like this before, right? So it's given us the opportunity. I mean, people think, oh, it's been 6 years, it's been so long. Okay, but guess what though? You're not 6 years old, right? You're not 6 years old. You know what I mean? Some of us are 40 years old and 50 years old and 60 years old. You know what I mean? So that means we've endured more than 6 years on this planet, right? Many of us have been working at our jobs for a lot longer than 6 years, right? And we've endured being, I'm not going to say poor, but not being where we want to be financially, right? And yet we've, endured more than 6 years. So we're persistent going down the wrong path, which is that 9 to 5 job. We're persistent at it, right? We lose a job, we get another job. We lose a job, we get another job. Or we stay on the same job for 30 years and they're not doing nothing for you. We're persistent in that. We're persistent in mediocrity. You understand me? We're persistent, in not having the things that we really want to have. We're persistent in that. But when there's something that is meaningful, where there's something that actually gives us real hope, right? We don't want to be persistent in that. That's the thing that we want to throw aside and say, can't be bothered. You know what I mean? Oh, let me move on, right? Like it's just it's the wrong mindset. We have it backwards, right? We have it back. We should be persistent about our pursuit of happiness, right? We should be persistent about being the best person that we can possibly be. We should be persistent in being generous with our time, right? We should be persistent in trying to make a positive contribution in the lives of other people around us. Those are the things that we should be persistent in, right? But no, we choose to be persistent in waking up in the morning, getting off to work, come back home, wake up in the morning, off to work, come back home. We're persistent in that week after week, month after month, year after year. And what is it doing for us? What do we have to show for it? We're persistent in getting that, triple master's degree, right? Getting that PhD, getting all these things. And in the end, what do we have to show for it? Oh, I have all these plaques on my wall. Yeah, and right? If you see my office, yeah, there's lots of plaques here, but at the end of the day, what does that mean? What is it really doing for me? It's not about the plaques. You understand? Some of them are in the closet, right? We just, they don't need to be up. You can just stay right where you are. You understand me? What are we really persistent about? Is it worthwhile? You know what I mean? Is there true value there? You understand? Your family, are you a family oriented person, right? Are you persistent in bringing your family close together, right? Are you persistent in the happiness of your family, right? These are the things that we ought to be persistent in life with. And if we do that, folks, I'm telling you, you're going to see a massive difference in your life. You will. There's no doubt about that. I'm living proof of that. Living proof. You understand me? Because I know where I'm coming from. One day I'll tell you the story, but I know where I'm coming from. You understand? I've seen a lot in this short time that I've been on this planet to understand a lot of things, you know. And one of them that I'm 100% sure of is that you have to be persistent in life. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Thank you very much, Brother Michael. Wow, that's awesome. I can see Sister Marie is lifting up her thumbs, meaning that she's satisfied with the feedback she got from you. And yes, we do deserve a break. Thank you. I'm going to call on Sister Patience, then Dr. Derek. Sister P, over to you.
You guys have surprised us today. We did not know we should come prepared to ask questions. We know you got it as always. But anyway, it's good to spike up things, change it around. I think Brother Mike have said a lot of what I wanted to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway. Maybe the way I asked it, he might give us another detail. I'm trying to get some secret out of you, you know. I have to start hiding my plaques now. I tell my community, don't call me doctor when they're asking for money. Call me doctor when I need to do some authoritative speaking. Because if it's some money, the title comes with no money. So it's funny. When they say, oh, Dr. Patience, is it about money? If they say, I said, no, it's not Dr. Patience. Yeah, we have to hide some of those plaques. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Thank you, Brother Michael, for the persistent speech. So what I wanted to ask questions is that a lot of people, or me being one of them, because maybe I don't have any creative mind, we don't succeed because we say that we don't have time, we don't have the money, it's taking too long, I don't know how to do it. I don't know, yada, yada, yada. So my question to you is, can you share what drives you to keep going and keep the flame burning? And it could be with anything or especially on passive, if you can share some secret. Maybe some of us might just catch on that Benny flame and start thinking differently. Because trust me, I'm going to hide some of this my plaque.
Well, unfortunately nowadays people can just buy those. So, they can. So when I walk into a doctor's office and I see too many, I'm like, okay, which one is real and which one is not? You know, because hey, we know people forge these things nowadays, and again, unfortunately, um, people have done some crazy stuff. But as far as what drives me, I think I've said this before that for me, my family is so important to me. Like it just is, right? And I think part of that is your upbringing, right? Part of that is growing up, uh, your environment, what you see, the situations you find yourself in, and then you kind of take a stop and decide, well, you know what do I want? If I had to, I'm now the painter, right? And I get to paint that masterpiece. What do I want to see that masterpiece look like? So maybe you come from single family home as an example. And so you say, you know what? In my masterpiece, I see mother and father, together in the same home. You know what I mean? So that's one thing you put in your head and says, okay, I know that when it's time, I want to be married, and I want to be married for life. You know what I mean? So you start to create that picture of what it is that you want, for yourself, right? Oh, I want to be able to have children. So, again, you add that to your masterpiece, right? I want to be able to be in a situation where money is not an issue. So you had that to your masterpiece, right? So you basically you're painting your picture as how you see your life should be, right? And then by doing so, you go about achieving it, right? By taking the necessary steps. Now, as you look at it and you say, okay, you look at the finance, because that's where most people struggle, is the finance side of things, right? People can get a job, but not because you have a job mean that it is something that's going to lead you to financial independence, right? Um, and again, as I said before, it's not about the income number, because there are people making $500,000 a year and they're living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so don't just think that, man, if I could just make 500,000 a year, I'll be fine, or if I can make $1 million a year, I'll be fine. We know millionaires who go bankrupt. Okay, billionaires who have gone bankrupt. Okay, so that isn't it, right? That isn't it. It's not about the number. We know people who make $30,000 a year and they're living a great life. They're financially free, and that's all they make is 30,000 a year. You understand? So it isn't that, but it's what you do with it. You understand me? You know. But for me, it really comes down to what's important to you. What is important to you in life? And so you have to figure that out, right? And you have that in front of you at all times. When you have that in front of you at all times, that's what's going to motivate you. You know what I mean? That's what's going to keep you going, right? No, I'm not there yet. Okay, we have children who are still in university or whatever, they're still in school. So they're not out there on their own, you know what I mean? So you're still going to do everything you can to put them in the best possible position, right? For them to succeed, right? And so you're always working towards that, right? You want them to be in a situation where what you're teaching them, they may stray a little bit, but you don't want them to depart, you know what I mean, from what you've taught them, right? So you continue to work on that. So it's a I would say a way of life. You know what I mean? Your pursuit of happiness, your pursuit of success, your pursuit of financial freedom, total freedom, all these things, it has to be a way of life, right? We've heard our CEO stated that, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? It's a true statement, right? Because when you make things a way of life, it becomes easy to do just about anything. But when it's not a way of life, right? And I'll go back to, losing weight, because it seems to be a topic that a lot of people spend time on. And so if you make it a way of life, the way you eat, for example, then you don't need to worry about, losing weight as far as going on diets and all these things. You make it a way of life. If it's a way of life, right, then over time you'll get to whatever weight loss goal that you're trying to achieve. You understand? Because now your eating pattern becomes a way of life, right? It's not just I'm gonna eat this way for 90 days. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna eat this way for 6 months, or I'm gonna eat this way for 30 days, or whatever, right? No, that you're just binging, right? But if you make it a way of life, that yeah, it's okay to eat sugar, right? But you can't eat sugar every single day. You know what I mean? And what kind of sugar are you eating? You understand? Okay, am I getting natural sugar because I'm eating a banana? Right? I'm having an orange, right? Or no, it's that chocolate bar that I'm eating every day. You know what I mean? It's that McDonald's that I'm having every day that they lace with whatever. You understand? Right? If I make my eating a way of life, then I don't ever have to worry about, weight loss and diets and all of that fancy stuff. And the same can be said, about anything in your life. You just have to make it a way of life, meaning that it's a part of who you are, right? And so if my thought process is, I want, my children to succeed in this, right? Then it has to be meaning every day I'm working towards that. So that's what I'm going to say. It's a way of life. It's just a part of who you are. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this for a week and then, or I'm going to do this for a month and then no. It's every day I'm doing something towards that, right? If I join a business, okay, every day I'm doing something towards my business because it's a way of life. It's part of who I am. This is what I do, right? On passive, okay. So we got into on passive, and every day was on passive. You understand? Like every day was on passive. People say, "Well, how you sign up so many people? How you?" Because every day is on passive. It becomes a way of life, right? And so I find when you make things a way of life, everything just becomes easier because you don't have to think about it. right? Like you don't have to think about walking, do you? No, you just walk, right? You get in the car now, you don't think about driving. You think, okay, I gotta twist, I gotta, you just drive. You understand? Because it's become a way of life, right? It's something that you just do, right? And so that's what you want everything in your life to be, something that you just do. So it becomes a part of who you are. And when you do that, it's very easy to be motivated because every day you're faced with the same thing. It's not something that is new, right? Every day it's the same thing. Every day I'm every step that I'm taking, every action that I'm taking, right, is leading me towards that goal. It's leading me towards that fulfillment, right? And that's how you have to go about success, right? People say, "Oh, I want to be successful." Okay, right? What do you mean by that, right? What does success look like to you? How will you know that you actually achieved success? You understand? So people have to be specific about what it is that they're trying to accomplish in life, and go about doing it, right? You know, I know people, their mission, you know what? I just have to have $1 million a year in income. Well, why? Okay, these are the reasons why I have to have it, et cetera, right? And they go about doing it and they achieve it. You understand? Because it becomes a part of who they are. Everything that they're doing is going towards that. You understand? I want to be debt free. Okay. What do you mean by that? Well, I don't want to have a mortgage. I don't want to have any student loan, car loans, no type of loans whatsoever. I'm always going to have bills, right? But I don't have to have debt. Okay. Two different things. Okay. You will always have bills, right? But you don't have to have debts. Okay. So if you want to be debt free, you make it a way of life where every day you're doing something towards it. You understand? Right? So my takeaway would be, make everything that you want to achieve make it a way of life. Right? And if you make it a way of life, you will be constantly motivated. Every day I get up, I'm fired up. Every single day I get up, I'm fired up. Right? Every single day. That's why someone can just call me, and if I'm available for a webinar, I'll jump on and I'm excited. Why? Because everything I do, right, is about the end goal in mind. Everything. You know what I mean? And I think if you're that way, you'll have multiple passions, right? You'll have multiple things that you're trying to achieve, and you make sure it happens because failure is not an option. You can't be thinking, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm no good at this. Oh, I'm not. Like you just can't. Right. A lot of the stuff I do today, I didn't learn it in school. You know what I mean? Right. I certainly didn't learn it in school. Right. So it's not about, well, okay, but I didn't go to university like you, but nothing to do with any of that stuff. Right. I probably learned way more outside of school than I did inside of school. Okay. Right? I probably learned a lot more outside of university than I actually did in university. And I learned a lot of stuff in it. So I'm not saying I didn't learn nothing in the university. I learned a lot of stuff. They didn't just say, here you go, just take this degree and just go. No, you know what I mean? I learned a lot of stuff there, by all means. But I would say I probably learned at least 10 times as much outside of a university classroom. You understand? And again, that is because when you have a goal in mind, when you're trying to achieve something, you're going to go wherever you can to get the information about it. You're going to spend whatever you can, to gather whatever information, whatever resource, and learn. I have a thirst for knowledge. A thirst for knowledge. You understand? So I like to know stuff. So I'm that reader, right? So everybody wants to get an audio book, and that's not for me, right? I need to read it myself because as I read it myself, I retain the information more. It stays with me more. I grasp it more, right? Just like I love to write down. So you guys are talking stuff. I make little notes as I'm sitting here with you guys, right? Because as I do that, my brain holds on to that information when I write it out, right? That's why I love email. I love to write stuff. I love to type stuff out, right? Because when I do that, my brain is very active. You understand? If I'm being lazy and just get an audio book and I just sit there, and it's just not the same. It just really isn't. You know what I mean? Sometimes I like to read out loud. And so when I read out loud, well, again, I grasp the stuff even that much more, right? But it has to be me reading out loud, not someone reading to me, right? So if we're sitting here as a family, for example, and we're reading, which we do, um, so although someone else is their turn to read, I'm also reading out, not loud that they can hear or disturb them while they're reading, but I still read it. You know what I mean? I don't just sit there and just let them know. Again, because for me, I find that you grasp this stuff better and you learn better. And so again, so you just pick up these things along the way and you make it part of who you are, and that contributes to your success in life. Absolutely. Okay. So hope that helps, Dr. P.
Thanks. I'm just going to keep my rebuttal question to myself. That was a lot. That was loaded. You said that bring your children, the old book said we should bring our children in the way so they don't depart. But you said one thing that resonated with me today. They can stray, but they will not depart, right? We are humans, we can wibble, but we will not depart from the core. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Use and reading aloud, writing. And remember when I was growing, and I'll have to, as I'm reading, I'm writing, and my dad used to say, "Are you trying to go and copy and cheat in the test?" But that was the way to help me retain, right? Seeing it, hearing it, and repeating it. So, thank Brother Mike. I'm not going to give my rebuttal because, as I said, we did not know this tie today, and our Queen Mama Comic and Sister Larato decided to surprise us. I'll leave room for others to ask, but that is low. But what I wanted to say, I'll just say maybe you answer when. So some of us did not have the opportunity to grow in that and reach that point, that type of setting that they reach that will tell the kids how to motivate them, or poor that did not. And I wanted to ask that, is that something that somebody can learn in their older age, right? Because you started the same by as a foundation. You have your picture, you write your pen, your the picture of what you want to be. For example, you might be from a single home. It's not, I don't want that for my life. You have this nice picture of what you want for your life. You started early. That type of person scenario starts early. But some people that maybe they were just oblivious, they did not know. And it hits, I don't want to call my age.
Well,
like me. And then we're like, okay, we didn't have this foundation. What do we do?
Well, you can learn that at any stage of your life, any stage, right? You can put that into practice at any stage, because I didn't necessarily have it within my home to say, you know what I mean? This is the example that I like, oh, our children, yeah, they have the example to see within their home. I didn't have that. You understand? So, you can learn that at any stage. It's not something that, oh, because I've lived it, so therefore I can now put it into practice. No. And to have a masterpiece, remember now, you can make changes. Okay. You reach a different stage in your life and you says, well, I don't think I really want that, or your beliefs may change, right? As an example, different ideologies come your way. Sometimes you get more enlightenment on a particular subject matter, right? Sometimes you think, well, nope, this is how it is, this is the way, and then you realize that, actually, no, I was wrong, right? I was actually wrong, and so you adopt that new information now, and you bring that into your masterpiece, right? So you're always working on it. That's why I talk about way of life, right? You're always working on it. I don't think you ever truly accomplish it during your lifetime. You know what I mean? You'll continue working towards it, working towards it, working towards it. I don't think you ever reach a point that says, okay, phew, I'm there now. It's done. I can just sit down, put my feet up. No, I don't believe that. It doesn't mean that you're working all your life. You understand? It doesn't mean that. But your masterpiece, though, is something that will always be there, that you're adjusting, fine tuning, all these things, until, until death, basically. You know what I mean? So you want to have, when you reach that stage where, death, I know some people don't like talking about death, but hey, it is a way of life, right? When you get there, that you would have done everything that you possibly could in life. You understand? So you've left yourself empty. You've poured out everything within you when you get to that stage, as opposed to going to your grave with everything still inside you and it never came out. You know what I mean? No, you want it to come out. Okay. Well, I just thought of something, but keep that one to myself. Right. So you want it to come out. You understand? And you know, just be empty at that stage. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take you your entire life all the way until the very end, whenever that is, whether that's age 100, age 90, whatever, 70, whatever the case may be. But when you get there, you can say, just before that second, you can truly say, I gave it my all. I did it. You know what I mean? I'm truly empty now. I can go sleep peacefully. You understand? So yeah.
Thanks for sharing. That is really deep. Yes. And way of life, living. It's a living document, it's a living piece. Thank you. I'll rest and I'll pass it over back to Mama McCormick. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister P. Wow, Brother Michael, we'll have to continue to keep the brain cells busy. Wow. I'll let you catch your breath while I call on our brother, Dr. Derek. Dr. Derek, are you in the house? I know you are. It's your turn, and after that, I will have to call on Brother Joseph. Dr. Derek, over to you, sir.
Okay. All right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our kings and queens in the house. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Debbie McCormick. How is King Jim?
Doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. I'd like to know how he's doing. Okay. And thank you very much, Queen Lirato Shadari. Really appreciate that mindset, because as far as I'm concerned, the mindset is the most important thing in life, because people don't have the right mindset. That's why they commit suicide, because you don't have the right mindset. All right. So thank you very much, Queen Lorato. Really appreciate that mindset. Thank you very much, King Michael Williams Aim. Really appreciate you also. We have echoed. I have been on this program and others have echoed your sentiments. And I am so glad that you mentioned the pursuit of happiness. Because really and truly, it is a pursuit. You cannot, sit on your couch and expect to be better than where you are. It is literally impossible. And I remember that there was a movie actually in came out in December. Yeah, I think it's December 2006 that movie come out with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness. He actually was depicting a true life story that happened. I think it was in New York also, by the man that named Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner and his son, and was played by Will Smith and his son. And so he really went all the way down to the end of the barrel, sleeping in the train, the subway, sleeping on the subway, sleeping at shelters, etc., etc. Lost his little home that he lived, lost his car, lost everything down at the bottom of the barrel. But what? What happened? You see, Chris Gardner refused. Well, even though every step of the way he's keep going, stepping down more and more and more and more. Chris Gardner refused to give in to his despair as he struggles to create a better life for himself and his son. He refused. And that is the simplest thing, that we need to refuse to give in to our despair. That's it. It's as simple as that, because life will always happen. Life is 20% of what happened to us and 80% of how we respond. Simple. That is very simple. And so we have to understand that this is the pursuit of life. Not really happiness, but life in general. Pursuit of life. We have to just refuse to give in to our despair, because despair will always come. Every day, every day, every day. You can't see the money to pay your rent. You can't see the money to pay and so, as King Michael Williams said to us, right? Well, he used a different verbiage. A word. I like to use the word lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And when we change our lifestyle and our mindset, because the mindset is what move the lifestyle. And yes, you might be, overweight. Let us continue on that trend. You might be overweight and you want to, bring down. It's a lifestyle. You can't just snap your finger and it just come down. No, it don't work that way. So same thing. You can't just snap your finger and you get money. It don't work that way. Yes, some people play the lotto or go to the casino and find they win a big money. But if they don't have the right mindset, it's like it's still a problem. Okay? And so let us understand that we dictate our destiny. You and I is the only one, with the help of God, of course. Yes. Hey, you understand? A lot of us might not believe that there is a God of heaven and a God of earth. And so, we live our lives in a vacuum, but we cannot live our lives in a vacuum, because there is a God, and God wants above everything for us to prosper and be in good health. But we make so many wrong decisions and then we blame God, which don't even make sense. But anyway, that is um, another discussion. So thank you very much, King Mitre. I think maybe because you see, I know that I think even Dr. John that did this presentation already with his um, financial readiness, that there was these two men, one man that was earning 50,000 a year. I think his name was Joe or something like that, and the other man was earning 150 k a year, 3 times the amount. But yet still, at the end of the year, the one that was earning $150,000 a year, he was broke. He had zero. But the man that was earning $50,000 a year, at the end of the year, he still has $20,000 in his pocket. Liquid, we're talking about, right? How did he do that? The lifestyle. The lifestyle. So, yes, it's not about how much money you get, it's about how you live your life. And most people live their lives above their means, right? Because one, we don't make a budget. It's simple things, simple things that we refuse to give awareness to. We refuse to give our attention to. And so let us recognize and let us understand Let us put in our mindset that life is 20% of what happened to us and 80% of how we respond. And that is also coming from my mom. All right. Don't put yourself down in the gutter to suit anyone. All right. So let us lift ourselves by our bootstrap and let us ask God to help us up and to pursue the lifestyle or life that we would like to have. I think, well, one question, and I think it's based on what Queen Mary, Queen Marie, and the other has asked. Um, most of what we do is that we share, what we are doing. So since most persons now are aware that the top that live is actually a personal program that someone seeked out and got and is able to put a lot of YouTube channels on it. Is it possible? Because I have been searching and I've asked around a few people, but I I don't get much information. So I don't know if you are in a position, King Michael Williams Aim, where you can ask whoever is have the knowledge of that platform so it can be shared that others can cooperate and use that platform, not that exact platform that they are using, but it must be just like how people are using Zoom, so to speak, quote unquote. Some people use Google Meet, and we say that I'm using Google Meet, and try it, and somebody try it and they feel comfortable with it. you know I'm not giving them my own to use per se, right? So it's the same context. Restream, people use Restream to actually do whatever they are doing, right? So it's the same thing. So if that knowledge or that information could be made readily available so that persons can maybe use it and apply for it, or purchase it, or whatever it is that they have to do to get with it, to incorporate other persons YouTube, because a bit difficult for us to be downloading YouTube video and uploading it to this channel and uploading it to that channel and uploading it to various channels. It's a little challenging, if that's the right word. So if you can help us, and if you don't know the information, then if you could assist those who would like to use something like that, or that so that they can put many channels to go live on it. Thank you very much. Appreciate.
I would imagine that someone purchased a domain name, okay, and so now you have a domain name, right? That's one. Then you get a rotator. So there are some out there that are free. Free, normally you're limited to the amount of links that you can have rotated, right? Usually a paid program, very paid site, will allow you to have more. I believed I've shared a rotator with you in the past, Dr. D. Um, but the point is, somebody has a domain name that they've purchased, so now they could be whatever the name they want it to be. So it happens to be the top .live, okay? And then you have a rotator, and so within that rotator now I can put 20 sites or whatever in the rotator, okay? And then now I forward that rotator link to the domain name. So when you So when you use the domain name, all you see is the domain name. You don't see the underlying link that is there, which is the actual rotator link. Okay. And then people just click on, the top two .live, let's say, the new domain name that you've purchased, and then they'll be able to just get redirected to whichever one they click on. And so I believe that's what that is, right? So I don't think it's something that is difficult to set up if that's something that you guys want to do, and go from there. So it should be pretty straightforward, I believe. Right? Again, I've not done it, right? So that's why I say I believe. Okay, but I'm sure it's not difficult to do because I've used rotators and domain names and all this other fancy stuff. So that's why I'm speaking from that standpoint that I believe that's what was done. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Michael. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Dr. Derek, are you done with your question for Brother Michael? Awesome. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay. Brother Joseph and Brother Pius, I see your hands are up, but I still have a question for Brother Michael before I pass it over to you. Please, if you don't mind, just be patient, and my question will be very brief. Brother Michael, our CEO talks in parables, and there's a you're a very good reader of minds and interpretation of words and phrases, including his, because you've been listening to him more often than our viewers. And there was a recent statement he made that my name is Ash Mufareh, and I have never left. Can you help us elaborate on that, please?
Okay. Well, if you go over to Julie Wen's YouTube channel, we actually spoke about that.
Oh, you did.
Last
Okay.
week, but it's fine. It comes back to people understanding that persistency that we talk about, right? And the do it or die attitude that he has, right? And so when people don't see him, they think, oh, where is he? Is he gone somewhere? Is it over? It's not happening. We're not moving forward. All these negativity pops up. Again, it's human nature, right? It's just human nature. Some people, if they don't see you for a week, I've had people say to me like, "Oh, how come we don't see you no more?" I'm like, "What do you mean you don't see me anymore? Like every Monday, you should know where I am, right? Once a month, you should know where I am." And that's good enough for now. I don't need to be visible every single day. I'm on a webinar or doing a live or any of that stuff. We're in wait mode, and people seem to forget that that is the case. We are in wait mode. So I'm not one that's going to be out there, having a whole bunch of webinars and this and all this other fancy stuff. Hey, God bless those who, choose to do that because it's a choice, right? We're in wait mode. And so our CEO is doing what he needs to do to move us to the next phase. But again, being human beings, being, just having that now mindset, right? When we don't see things moving in our time, right? Now, we're not the CEO, and we're not running the company and we're not putting things together, but yet we want to see things done in our time, right? Oh, I have this that's due a month from now. Oh, I got this that's going on. I got this. Okay, so how are we going to be, right? End of the day, we're simply waiting, okay? And so when the next update is ready, it will be delivered to us. Where will we see it? It's not going to be no secret. It's not going to be only a few people know about it. It's going to be in our OES, right? But people want to see the CEO. And this is not something that is new, by the way, okay? People wanted to see him, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. If he didn't come on to a webinar, it's like, oh, where is he? Right? What's going on? And we still have this same mindset to this very day, which just blows my mind, right? I don't need to see him. every week, right? I don't need to talk to him every week. You know what I mean? Or even every month for that matter. I really don't. It's either I believe or I don't believe. Like to me, it's just simple as that. If I believe that this thing is going to be successful, then I believe. And if I believe that be the case, then I can just go off my business and do whatever I need to do to pay my bills or whatever, and I'm good to go, right? Knowing that when we are ready to go, when on passive is ready to go, you know, we're gonna be happy. You know what I mean? We're gonna be in a good place, right? So he's making a statement that, guys, I've not left, right? I've not left the building, right? I've not left the business. I've not left to go off and don't care about the people them, don't care about on passive, don't care about our journey, don't care about uplifting humanity. No, that is not the case, right? We are moving forward, but there are things that needs to be done that we are working on. And I don't want to come to you guys and say, hey guys, this is going to happen, blah, 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 right? I want to come to you and say, guys, this is done. This has happened. Go take a look. Go see for yourself. You understand? So when things are at that stage, then he will come and say, here you go. Right? I've said to people before we got the OES back, I said to people, okay, you're screaming, you're crying, you're complaining, you're whining that, whoa, we can't log in, we can't log in, we can't. It's okay, if you can log in tomorrow, what is that going to do for you? What is it going to do for you? Is that going to put money on the table? Is that going to allow you to pay your bills? Or like what is it going to do for you? Well, no, but if at least if we can get in there and do what? You understand me? Right? So again, I just think differently. Where this is concerned, I'm give it to me when I can actually go do something. That's what I would prefer. Give it to me when I can actually go do, I got a product, I can go sell this product now. Give it to me then. Right? But unfortunately, a lot of people, they have, seeing is believing. I have to see. If I don't see, I don't believe. Right? And so if I don't see the CEO, then I don't believe that he's doing anything. I don't believe that he's still here. Like really? You know what I mean? I think we've gone through this, long enough that people should understand that, our CEO is sincere about what he says. And he means what he says, and he's going to do what he says, and he's not there sleeping on the job, right? So no, he has not left. Okay, he has not left. He's still here, and he's making it happen for all of us around the world. And we just have to continue to trust the process, and we will see. You've been saying trust the process, trust. Yeah, I know. And what else do you want me to say? Do you want me to say, oh, guys, guess what? A week from now, you can have money in your pocket. You know what I mean? Is that what people want to hear? It's about what you want to hear. It's about what is the truth. It's about facts. You understand? It's about what you want to hear. Right? And so we have to understand that. And we have to just realize that, listen, this company is doing something that nobody else is willing to do. And so, it can be challenging at times. Put yourself in his shoes. Right? Put yourself in his shoes, and that you have all these people that is dependent upon you. Right? I have people say, oh, I got the weight of India on my head. I got the weight of Africa on my head. I got the weight, right? It's like, really? No, you don't. Right? You may think you do, but you don't. Right? The bottom line is that our CEO is doing everything that is possible to make this thing go as fast as possible. And there's nothing that you and I can say or do that's going to make it go any faster. So if that be the case, I have no control over it, then what am I going to worry about it for? What am I going to worry about it for? Me worrying, all that does is just bring more stress to my life. I don't want any more stress. Look at my face. Does my face look stressful to you? Like, where's the camera? Oh, there it is up there.
No, you look great. You look great. No wrinkles yet.
You understand? I know they're coming, but I'm going to try and keep them away as long as possible by not stressing about things that I cannot control. People have to learn to do that. Stress will kill you. You know what I mean? It will bring sickness upon yourself, right? For no good reason. Why stress about something that you cannot control? Makes no sense to me at all. None whatsoever. So I try not to stress about what I have no control about. And we don't have control about when the button is pushed and we have the green light. So therefore, sit back, relax, and continue to trust the process because we will get there. If we weren't going to get there, folks, trust me, I'll be the biggest person yelling and screaming, saying, hey, we're not going to get there. Let's, go do something else or whatever. You know what I mean? Why am I still here? Why am I still positive? No one is paying me, folks. Okay, let me make that perfectly clear. Okay, Mr. Ash Muffareh is not paying my bills. Okay, ONPASSIVE is not paying my bills. You understand? So no, I'm not here, being all hey rah rah and positive because I'm getting money under the table or something. Okay, let me just put that out there because I know people and they're probably thinking, hey, wait a minute, he's probably getting some of that money. You know what I mean? And while we're here struggling, folks, we're all in this together, right? And there's nothing I want more than to see all of us succeed, right? So let's just continue to, stay positive because being negative is not going to help you, right? So might as well stay positive then, okay? And let's just continue to wait and we will see, right? It is November 17th today, 2024. Okay, we have basically a month and a half before the year is out. Do I believe that it's going to be an update before the year is out? Yes, right. We're going to hear something. We're going to hear, more information, and then we just take that information in stride and move on to the next phase. Okay, so he's not left. Okay, he hasn't left.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brother Michael. And yes, you're looking good because you are stress free, and we want you to remain stress free, right? So when the money starts getting into our wallets, we'll get together and celebrate stress free as well. Thank you so much.
I have left him alone, so where do I log in? I can't see my yes, left Brother Michael alone.
That's a good one. I'm glad you're protecting him because we need him to be there and strong for us when the right time comes. For now, we're just going to take it easy on him. Brother Joseph, I'm passing the microphone to you. Please make your question brief, please, and straight to the point. Thank you. You can unmute. See, thank you.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. Thank you, Brother Michael. You've given us a lot and we are digesting it. I'm trying to come back with a question that Dr. Patience asked you, and I still wanted you to visit it and let us get it clear. Most of us, many of us, our parents sent us to school because they wanted us to go work and then come back and live. We have done the same to our children, and we are doing the same to our grandkids. Most of those who are financially free now are those who started like you did, like our CEO started, and you are going to hand it down to your children, and they will hand it down to the grandchildren. Where we are like baby boomers, where do we start? And how can we incorporate the children and the grandchildren whereas they are learning different things from the school where they are? How can you help us to this?
Okay, excellent question. Wow. Okay, jeez, you guys are just pulling it all out today. Um, I fully support. Okay, so just want to be clear. I fully support our children going to school and getting a good education. Okay, so I don't deviate from that, right? My children, them, the same thing. They're gonna go to school and they're gonna get a good education. Okay, but now that you have that good education, what do you do with it? right? What do you do with it? And so, I encourage them to, yes, go get a job. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you stay with that job, because you see, you have to have hands on experience, right? So, for example, let's say, you went to school, you become an engineer. Okay. So now that you're an engineer, it's a good idea to go work with an engineering firm. Okay. So now you're getting the hands-on experience. Now you understand, how the trade works, right? How the profession works, all of that. Now that you've seen that for yourself, and you learn as much as you can from whoever employs you. Okay. But you'd want to now put yourself in a position where you can start your own engineering firm. Okay. When you can go out there now, and so that you could be your own boss, have your own business, right? And when you do so, now you're able to take advantage of the leveraging that I spoke about earlier. And not just that, but you're also able to stimulate your economy by now you're able to employ others, right? So when you do that, now you're starting to step out of that realm of being an employee to now becoming a business owner. And as a business owner, that's where you're going to be able to find the true success, by being financially free, totally free, because you can have your business running while you're not there, right? Obviously, you hire competent staff, right, that can run the firm, etc., that can run the day-to-day activities of the business. You may oversee it and all of that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be there day in, day out. So all of a sudden you free up some of your time, as opposed to when you're working for an employee, you're putting in 8 to 10 hours a day, right? So it's a big difference. And so, and the same thing would happen when they have their children. Same thing. Yes, go to school, get a good education, right? Make sure they're learning, something that makes sense. Don't go to school and learn nonsense, right? Go to school and learn something that makes sense, meaning things that are going to be feasible out there in the marketplace. Don't go learn a trade or a profession that's going to be obsolete, as an example, right? So have an idea of what's out there in the market, what's going on, to know where you kind of, want to be, right? So that's how I encourage them. Okay, you want to be an architect, same thing, right? You're gonna have to get experience. You're gonna have to, learn the ropes, see what's going on, understand the field, right? But now try to get out there. So whether you're out there on your own, or you may have a few of your, your peers, people that you may have went to school with, etc., same major, all of that stuff, you come together, you form a company, and now you go make things happen, right? You may have a friend who's an accountant. You may have a friend who, they took business or whatever, you know what I mean? So they're good at marketing, right? And so you collaborate, you come together, and you start your own company, and then you go out and do that. There are people out there who have companies upon companies upon companies, like hundreds of companies that they have. Doesn't necessarily mean they're all, 10,000 employees or 50,000 employees. No, it could be I started this company here. Maybe there's 3 to 5 employees. You know what I mean? Maybe there's only 10 employees and so on. Right. The point is, you want to put yourself in a position where somehow you become a business owner. Right. The alternative to that is that if you now gone to school, now you have a good job, learn to be a good investor. Okay. Because those are the two areas that you want. So either one or the other, or both. Okay. So you can be there, you know what? Yep. I love my engineering job. I love my boss. I love the company I work for. No problem. And I don't really want to go out there and run my own company. That's okay, because it's not for everybody. Right. So I can still be an employee, but I'm also an investor. I'm investing my money wisely. Sound advice. You understand? And so as I invest my money wisely, now I have my money working for me. So now I'm still using leverage, right? I'm using leverage because I'm making the money work for me. So I can build myself up by having sound investments, not some pie in the sky, some guy come and tell you, hey, you know what? I've got this great idea and let's put some money into whatever, something offshore, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then you end up losing your money. Oh, I can give you, 50% a month return, but and you jump into it and your money's gone. I'm talking about sound advice, sound investing. Okay. So I can do that as well, right? Or, instead of being that business owner, now I can be an investor and invest in my money wisely, and my money's growing and building up to the point where I have options, right? I have options because I don't need to be working so much now. I can maybe, work part-time, right? Or even get to the point, if I'm really good at it, right? Get to the point where I can actually retire early, right? I can retire at age 40 as an example, right? Because I've built up my investment portfolio and now it's able to generate me an income stream. And so I can now spend more time with my family. So it's not just being a business owner. So it's either that and or being a good investor, and you're able to make it that way as well. And you can pass that knowledge on to your children to help them be in a position whereby now they have the same choice, but it still starts with having that foundation, which is still to go to school. It's still to go and get that education so that you have options. Okay, you always want to have options. Okay, so it's not to say, no, you don't need no school, you don't need to go to university, not at all. They should go get the degree, preferably something that you actually, enjoy, not just doing it because of money, but something that you actually enjoy, right? So if your child comes and says, Dad, Mom, I don't want to be that engineer. I think I'm just going to get a business degree. It's okay, right? No, I don't think I want to be an architect anymore. I want to be a nurse. It's okay, right? Let them pursue something, that they want, because they'll put more effort into it, right? And then knowing that, I have options. I can either go start a business at some point, maybe 5 years into my career, 10 years into my career, right? Or you know what? I prefer to work here and then take my money now and invest it wisely, soundly, okay, and build that up, and I'm still gonna be okay down the road. And I can repeat that cycle with the next generation. Okay, so that's how I would go about it. Is that okay, Joseph?
He's looking for the button. You can
Thank
unmute,
you,
Brother Joseph.
thank you, Mr. Michael. That was very okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question, Brother Michael. Brother Joseph. Others in the audience learned from that. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to call on our Brother Pius. Please, over to you, Brother Pius. You're ready. Proceed. Welcome.
Hello, my sister, Debbie. How are you doing? I greet each
Thank
and
you,
every
Brother
one of you
Pius. How is
guys.
Ireland?
We are fucking getting cold over cold here,
Welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the
I'm so sorry I haven't attended the meeting for quite a long time because of the nature of the situation. According to our CEO, he said, keep doing what we are doing to keep food on your table, and we are pushing it, we are doing it. So I have to thank you, Debbie. Thank my Derek, Yvonne, Priscilla, Dr. Benny, Pastor 360, and others, Dr. Patience. I'm so proud of you guys. I don't have time to attend because of to make sure I keep food on my table. Very old man, but I'm pushing it. According to what Michael Williams said, some people can do something better on 40 years. You go to pension, take pension, eating your money. Thank you, Michael William. You are so great. I'm so proud of you. You are fantastic. Whoever doesn't listen to you doesn't want to learn. From day one, since 5 years, I joined ONPASSIVE. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you 100% clear.
For 5 years, I joined ONPASSIVE. I focus. That is why I am where I am. I want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you guys and to encourage. I don't have any question. Why should I have question? Because I'm there and I'm winning it. To encourage us. People are waiting for Ash Bomb. People are waiting for September to remember, but they haven't subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, why should you be waiting for? You are not going to win it. You have to subscribe before you win it. So thank you, Michael Williams. Every Monday, sometime I have to skip, go to toilet, to log in, to listen to you and Julie, then I don't spend more than 5-7 minutes because I have to be sacked. Just to listen, to hear you guys' voice. I'm working hard because I knew what I did for 4 or 5 years ago is going to benefit not only me, my children, my entire village, my kindred. So what I'm encouraging each and every one of us to focus, get ready for subscription of your Connect. Most of us haven't been subscribed and they're waiting for the Apple. Are you saving the money? This is Christmas, or you are buying shoe and bags for Christmas, while you haven't saved money to pay to subscribe for your for the product. Get ready, it's coming. Even if it comes whatever time, I don't need to say next year. Some people will curse me when I say next year because everyone wants the Apple now. Get ready. When it comes, the Apple will drop on your doorstep. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm one of them that subscribe. I'm waiting. And I told my children, when the second product come, I will subscribe the second product to make sure I have up to 2 products running for me before I make a withdrawal. My son asked me, can't you withdraw when people are withdrawing? I say, no. Those money there will help me to subscribe more 2 products or 3 products because all belongs to me. So guys, please get ready to subscribe if you haven't. If you have done it, wait. Have patience. You guys see what happened in USA after Donald Trump winning the election? What is happening with crypto? You guys saw it. Our own is coming. It's coming very soon. It's do or die, and Ash cannot die because she have done it. So wait. Thank you. So I don't need to take so much time with you guys. Dr. Benny, you are shining with your eyeglass. I love that. So Michael William, thank you so much for giving all that mentorship, for encouraging us to stand with Ash. We are with Ash. Thank you so much, Debbie, and thank you all. God bless.
Thank you, Brother Pius. It's always an honor having you, regardless of the weather. And we know you're always with us when you're able. But regardless of what happens here, every Sunday we're here. If you come, you'll be with us. If you cannot come, we understand why. But I know you always come. So thank you. And thank you. Yes, we definitely are in it to win it. And that's not going to change
so
anytime soon. Brother Michael, you have any comment before we move on?
No comment. Again, that's what we want. People that are committed and people who know what they have in their hands. So kudos to you, Mr. Pius. Ireland all the way.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Brother Pius. One of our sisters is not here, Sister Kenla, and she passed her question for our Sister Yvonne. And Sister Yvonne, you're up next. And after that, it will be questions and discussions unless Dr. Derek says something about updates. So Sister Yvonne, over to you.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. Hello, Brother Michael, and thank you for always expanding our minds and keeping it so. So this question is from Sister Kanla, and she says, why is our CEO, Mr. Ash, and ONPASSIVE company being held to a higher standard personally and company-wise, for example, with expectations, success, delivery, outcomes, product, functionality, benefits, failure, etc.? A whole long list of descriptions there, but I'm sure you got what she's saying. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope you're going to be welcome, based upon the answer. Now, if we're talking about the founders, then if that's who she's referring to as to why the company's being held at a higher standard, if it's because it all depends on the frame of reference, right? So I'm going to take it from the standpoint of it's the foundership.
Yes. Yes.
That it's their expectations and so on. And I think that comes from people being beaten up, right? It comes from a place of um, lack of success, right? And so when you've lost A and you lost B and you lost C, it's just you're just losing all the time. You're failing all the time, and you want success so badly, and you've bought into the idea, the concept, the mission, the vision, everything that On Passive have stated to date. You buy into that, and you feel that there's just no other hope except On Passive. Right? Some people feel that way, right? Um, and it's also based upon people's ability, right? I can't go join that business because I can't sell. I can't go join that business because I can't refer anyone. So how am I going to make money? Blah blah blah, right? So I think it comes from that place, and so they're looking to On Passive as saying, like this is it. Like you have to deliver. And why are you taking so long to deliver when I need money right now? Okay, but that company that you joined, before On Passive, what happened there? You know what I mean? Chances are they probably ran off with your money. You know what I mean? They disappeared, right? Because a lot of people love jumping to stuff that tells you, oh, it's 100% passive, it's 100% passive, 100, and they jump into it. And a lot of those companies, they're just gone by the wayside. You know what I mean? Just disappear because they don't care about people, right? And so people come into On Passive now with that background, that they're looking at this business and saying, I have a lot invested, right? And not necessarily money, but my hopes, my dreams, right, are fully invested in On Passive. And so it has to come true. If it doesn't come true, my God, my life is over, which of course is not true, but that's how they feel, right? That's the mindset, you know. And so I think it's just based upon what OnPassive has to offer, right? It's the only company that's really talking about uplifting humanity, about caring about people, about correcting the corruption, all these things, right? You know all the phrases that we've used over the years, right,
Mhm.
to describe what we're involved with. And so I think it comes from that place, so people expect nothing but the best. We've always talked about nothing but the best,
Yeah.
one top to the next top. And you understand me? So
Mhm.
I think it's all that language that has been used within On Passive. People come now with the expectation that it has to be the best, right?
Yes.
It has to be the last stop,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so because of that, uh, people, I want to say, they become short-sighted and not looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture would be this: you join this company and you spend whatever you spent. Some people only spend 97, some people spend 97 plus, right? 143 or 97 plus, 90, what you understand?
Mhm.
So whatever that case may have been, right? And so I like to look outside of On Passive saying, well, what could I have done? So some people say, well, I could have bought Bitcoins with that money. Look how Bitcoins are just roaring right now, right? And the truth of the matter is, it wouldn't have done anything for you. It wouldn't have. You know what I mean? People are delusional. Um, you know, when would you have gotten in? Right? I was talking to someone yesterday, and we are talking about the state of the cryptocurrency marketplace and what's going on. And she was saying to me, goes, yeah, you remember we saw Bitcoin when it was $500. And I said,
Yeah.
yes, hindsight is always 2020 in that,
Mhm.
we've made money in crypto and what have you. But the point is that people will look and says, man, if I bought, when I first saw it, or if I held on, to my
Mm.
Bitcoins and not sell it. But life doesn't work that way though. You know what I
Doesn't.
mean?
Yeah.
Because this is the human psychology for the most part. People got into Bitcoins, whether it was $500 or $1,000 or $5,000, whatever they got in at. And while it's going up, everybody's happy and this is fantastic. Okay.
Mhm.
but what goes up must come down. Okay,
Yes.
that's how the markets work. It doesn't go straight up and it doesn't go straight down. It goes in cycles. Okay, so it'll go up, hills and valleys and so on, right? So when people see it going up, they're all excited, but when they all see it coming down,
You're not
panic comes in to play and they sell. Right now, Bitcoin's at 90,000 or whatever per coin. Okay. If anyone is in right now, if it should drop to 60,000, I guarantee you a lot of people will be selling. You understand? As they see it come down, because in their mind, they're saying, oh my gosh, it's probably going to go all the way down. Because you don't know what the bottom will be.
You don't.
People don't. And even the best traders, they're still going to guess what they think it is, right? But they don't know. There's a difference between guessing or assuming versus actually knowing something. It's not the same thing, right? So that's the human psychology. So people will look and think, man, if I just held on, or man, if I sold, or man, if I bought, all this fancy stuff. The reality is, folks, right, is that you made a good decision to get involved in ONPASSIVE. That's the reality. You made a good decision. That decision is still valid today. ONPASSIVE is not going up in price, it's not going down in price, it's not fluctuating on you. There's no need to have panic, there's no need to have fear, right? There's none of that. Okay? All we have to do is continue to be patient, right? And knowing that it will be delivered. And when it's delivered to us, we're going to be happy. Now, does that mean that you just sit there and do absolutely nothing? We heard our brother Pius says, hey, he's got to put food on his table. So you got to do what you got to do, but just be wise in what you're doing, though. That's all. We've always said that to people. Just be wise in what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't go do stuff foolishly. You know what I mean? Don't let somebody tell you some about pie in the sky, whatever, and you jump in. You know, just be wise. Okay? All right. But at the end of the day, though, people's bills still have to be paid. You know what I mean? So while it's right to have that high expectation from ONPASSIVE, but we also have to bring with that, right, the right perspective as far as timing goes. It's not going to be in our time, as I said earlier. Okay. So therefore, we just continue to have the expectation. Sure, nothing wrong with that, right? Again, because it was put in that light. No one came to you and says, you know what, this ONPASSIVE thing is probably not going to turn out, but come on in just in case. We're all 100% positive. We're all confident about it. We all believed and we continue to believe. You understand me? So obviously people buy into that as well, right? But it's the facts are still the facts, that all that still remains to be true, right? So we can still hold on. We can still have our hope, knowing that it's going to, give us the rewards we're looking for. But there's things that we cannot control, right? There's things that we cannot control. No difference than if you now take some money and go invest the money. You go to an investment banker and say, hey, I'm here, here's 10 grand or whatever, $1,000, whatever the case may be. Here's some money, right? Put me in some good mutual funds, buy some stocks, bonds, whatever, right? And when do you expect to get good results? You expect good results in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, right? People that invest for the long term tend to win. You understand me? Because they're going to allow the cycles to happen. Market's going to create a high, then it's going to create a low, then it'll be a higher high, then be a higher low, and so on and so forth, right? It goes in cycles. And as those cycles occur, right, down the road is when you're expecting that windfall. You know what I mean? Down the road is when you're expecting that, okay, I put the money in, I'm getting, 6% a year return. So that means, if it's compounded, maybe it's going to take a year, and so on. It's going to double and all these things. You're going to get growth. You understand? But you're looking for that return down the road. You're not looking for that return a year from now, 2 years from now. When people are working, they're not looking to retire 1 year from when they first got employed, right? They say, okay, I'm gonna work for the next 40 years, not for the next 3 years. I'm gonna work for the next 40 years. And then I hope that all that I've done throughout that time, as far as investing and saving and what have you, that it's gonna pay off for me 40 years later. You understand? So people have been on passive for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, some 6 years. You understand? And so the hope is that at some point, again, not 40 years from now, but at some point in the near future, right, that it would have now worked in our favor, and we're going to be very, very happy for that. I still have 100% faith on that. So we can have that expectation, but have the right expectation, though. That's the difference. And I think some folks have the wrong expectation.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just flip that around and have the right expectation. And then all your dreams are going to, it's going to happen, folks. There's no doubt about that. All right.
Answer. Thank you, Brother Michael. I'm sure that's the slant that she was going for. It's just that, yes, what you said, some people have endued Mr. Mufare with the savior complex, but they don't want to give him the time to actually work it through. So you just I'm sure that's what Sister Kanda meant. So thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you to Sister Yvonne. Stay put. I'm going to pass it over to you, Dr. Benny and Dr. Derek. Dr. Derek, if you have any updates, please proceed. If you do not, Dr. Benny, you can continue with questions and discussions. Thank you so much, Brother Michael. I'm just going to pass it over to our next group of sisters to help continue from here.
Stop changing the view. Somebody's keep changing the view. You don't want to see myself on this big screen, okay? So leave it on gallery, okay? So we can see more people and all of that stuff. I don't want to just see myself like boom, it's like whoa, what's going on? Okay.
It looks better. It looks better like that on YouTube. Sorry, Brother Michael. Nobody wants.
Well, you see, I have this big screen that I use.
That's why.
Right. So it makes it even worse. Okay. So it literally takes up half of my desk.
All right.
So
I'll put it on gallery
worse.
because
So,
we're not on Q&D, but it looks better on YouTube. Okay, I'll put it on gallery. I don't change anything when I'm doing it. Over to you, Q&D team.
You don't want to mess up your flow. So if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. It's okay. I can stomach looking at myself. Okay.
Hi, is Dr. Derek available? No.
Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love. What's that? To all our kings and queens. Well, as we know that there has been no updates, recent updates. As we know, we look into our OES and look on the updates. That is the only place. Let me say it again. The only place that we are to look for updates. Not in any YouTube channel, not in any WhatsApp, not in any WhatsApp group or in WhatsApp message. The only place that we are to look for updates, not by calling anyone. The only place we are to look for updates is to log into our OES, log into your OES, right, which is oes.onpassive.com. That's it. oes.onpassive.com. If you just put in onpassive.com, it will forward to oes.onpassive.com. You will be good to go still. All right. And then where it says right at the top, and at the top left, you just look for updates, and it is right there. And the last update is from last week. There's the same one that is dated from November 2, right? That says nice and easy. Nice and easy. And of course, Ash Mufare said he likes simplicity. All right, so always check there. That's the only place to check for updates. Nowhere else, please. Nowhere else on the planet that we are to check for updates, but right there on our oes.onpassive.com. No recent updates since November 2, and we know when Ash Mufare doesn't come on a webinar, he's doing more. You can assure of that because we know that Ash Mufare is a man of integrity. If you don't get that so far, the past 6 years, or 4 years, or 5 years, or 2 years, that you have heard the man, that you have seen the man, if you don't know by now that he's a man of integrity, then tough luck on you. All right, let us leave it at that. But for those of us who knows that Ash Mufare is a man of integrity, and that's one of the reasons, because he knows that a lot of people like to see, just like the disciple by the name of Thomas, which we refer to from time to time. Those of us are in the faith, we always refer to him as doubtful Thomas. Right? We want to see evidence, and that's what Ash Mufare did for those who have to see. And that is why he brought back the ecosystem, so at least we can see something that, yes, it is there. Why would he put up a website if he's not going to continue business? This is a multi-million-dollar website. Why would he put up a multi-million-dollar website? Oh, exit stage left. That don't make no sense. All right. So for those who need something to see that are still there, that's what website is there for. So looking good, looking nice, looking lovely. Leave it alone. You don't want to trouble it. Don't want to want anything. All right, and just wait on the next instruction. That's all. Right? As what all of us have been saying over and over and over, who have a little bit of mindset, because it's all about the mindset. Right? So those of us who have a little better mindset, just let us continue to be patient. Let us continue to be patient. All right? And if you want to get your doctorate in patient, just talk to Dr. Patience. All right. Thank you very much. That is it. And over to Queen First Lady, Dr. Benny. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everyone, to my queens and kings around the globe. I believe I'm just going to introduce myself and Queen Yvonne. Queen Yvonne, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Queen Dr. Benny. My name is Yvonne Finn, and I am monitoring the chat as always. I live in Canada, and it's 9 degrees centigrade here now for anyone who wants to know how cold it is. I was just going to talk to Derek. Thank you, Dr. Benny.
Thank you so much, Queen Yvonne Finn. Yes, please. My name is D. Benny. I want to really take this special moment to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us this afternoon, this evening, or morning. It all depends upon your location. I also want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing an important person to each and everyone. Remember that if it wasn't for this individual, I would not be able to know who Mr. Michael Williams Ames is. I will not. And his name is Mr. Ash Mufare. Mr. Ash made a statement that either I do or I die. As we all know that he is different. He's a different CEO. Well, I know he is different because he is really here to eradicate poverty and to uplift humanity. I just want, when you guys have time, let us create time and just pray for him, his entire family, as well as his newest tech team, that God should give them that strength power to do whatever they want to do to make all of us happy when it comes to developing all our products, to sell, market it to our customers or consumers. Now, I really, as you all know, we do have a lot of people here, our friends, that they have done a lot. I want to really thank our welcome team. Seriously, when you guys welcome people, a lot of people, they do come here just because you guys are welcoming us. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Like Miss Mary Pendy. I mean, I love the way you welcome us. King Alfred Chair, thank you so much. My name is Isabella. Thank you. Guess what? And our moderators, that what Queen Debbie does. You know, I mean, I appreciate you, Dr. Queen Irene. Then do you guys know about this lady that we don't even see her here? Her name is Rose, Queen Rose. She is monitoring the YouTube channel, making sure, there is no hackers over there. I mean, she is working so hard for us. Thank you so much, Queen Rose. And then you guys have, well, you have our update team. Despite the fact that Queen Kanla is not here, you have our king, Dr. Derek. Thank you so much. I know you will go and search for the updates to make sure that there is something for you and I to be happy. Because a lot of people, you guys know that Papa Africa used to come here just to listen to the updates. Oh, yes, yes. I also want to thank our mindset, our sister, our queen, Lerado. Thank you so much for your extraordinary mindset. We love you. And do you guys know who is the presenter for today? Despite the fact that they are asking him the question, he will do whatever it takes. He loves us so much that he would make sure that he would take 1 month just to come and say hello or listen to the questions. And because of the knowledge that he has, he is ready to instill it into us. He is our one and only Mr. Michael Williams Ames. We want to appreciate you. We thank you for everything, and we love you so much. Yes, Mr. Michael Williams, we love you. You're going to be waiting for me for my question, right? I just have two. Just two questions. By the ending of September, we were told by our CEO to log into our ecosystem. I noticed that a lot of our affiliates were complaining because despite the fact that some of them have plenty of accounts, when they couldn't log out. But guess what? Now they can, because I know that I can even log into 3, 4, 5 accounts. It means that things are working. It means that there is no problem. So, Mr. Michael Williams, do you think that there is hope that our newest tech team have been working so hard to make things happen?
Short and sweet.
Chai, Mamma mia. Short and sweet.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, right? We're always rushing, right? We always, like I said, we want things to happen now, 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 now. Okay, guys, over the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to go in and edit your profile, blah, 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 right? And but I went inside and I tried to edit my profile and it's not working, right? Okay, like over the next couple of weeks, it didn't say go right now and you'll be able to do this. Go 2 days from now, you'll be able to do this. Okay, so in other words, this is the next thing we're working on right now for you guys to be able to see, and so you can pay attention to that, right? But clearly, clearly, when we first got into the OES, we still, we saw some things that were there, some of the products were there, and then we log back in now, we don't see them, right? Okay, well, again, they're going through some changes and they're putting in what they feel is the best thing to have in there, etc. And they work on something behind the scenes and then bring it back to us. And so they're constantly working. Absolutely, they're constantly working. And so we should realize that and just not panic. If you can't log in for whatever reason, don't panic. If you can't log out for whatever reason, don't panic. If you can't change your profile, don't panic. If something is missing, don't panic. You know what I mean? There's no cause for panic. Just understand that, yes, we're going through changes. You know what I mean? And so, that song that says, if you don't know me by now, you'll never, never know me, right? That comes to mind, that if we don't know our CEO by now, we'll never, never know him, right? Just know and trust that things are being done in our best interest. That's all, right? You think if the company could say, here you go, guys, here's money here. Let me just throw money at you. If they could do that, they would have done it. You know what I mean? But it just doesn't work that way, right? So let's just continue to hope, let's continue to see that things are being done, which is a good sign, right? It's a good thing when you see stuff is being adjusted or or being changed, or oh, wait a minute, that wasn't there last time I logged in. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. Okay, work is being done, and we are not the ones that's doing the work. So let's continue to let them do it. All right. But yeah, certainly they're doing stuff, Dr. Benny.
Thank you so much. I noticed that I do have one of my account that in September I logged in. I was able to log in, but today I tried to log into that particular account using the same password, but I could not. So just like you said, if I should not panic,
That's
and
right.
I appreciate that. I will not play with that particular account.
That's right. Don't try to change the password. Don't do anything. Just relax and wait. You know what I mean? I have accounts I've not even logged into yet, so I'm just waiting. You know what I mean? When the time is right, I will do so. Okay, because there is no rush. I think people are rushing to log in because they think something's waiting for them inside. Right? There is no rush. You know what I mean? And no one's gonna be left behind. You're not gonna miss out. So, oh yeah, but what if I don't? You're not going to miss out. So it's okay. And if as things are happening, okay, like people will know because people are gonna blast it out. People are gonna say, hey, guess what? You know what I mean? So there's just no rush. No need to rush. Okay.
Thank you so much. My next question, as we are progressing with ONPASSIVE, I noticed that there is a lot of work to do to maintain our business individually. Is it possible to hire people to assist us specifically for our multiple accounts?
Well, I mean, that again, you are now a business owner, so you need to make business decisions. So if you feel at any time that you need assistance and you want to hire someone, hey, guess what? Now you'll be stimulating the economy, okay, by hiring someone, okay, by putting money, in somebody else's hands, right? Because that's how money is made, folks. It goes from one hand to the other. Okay, people think it's magical, and no, it's very, very simple. Okay, it goes from one hand to the other. And if you think of it and go through all the different examples, you'll see that's exactly what happens. Okay, and so yeah, if you get to that point where you feel you need help because you have more than you can manage, you know, then by all means go ahead. But I certainly would wait until my business is generating income, and I need my business to generate revenue. And as the revenue comes in, I can then use some of that revenue, right, to now pay individuals because now that becomes a business expense, especially if you're in the U.S., Canada, Europe for that matter, wherever you have income tax, right? Certainly you want to have expenses as well. And so that would be a good expense to have. Okay. And so the expense will minimize the amount of taxes that you pay. Right. So it's always good to have expenses within your business, but first you want to wait to generate revenue before you be expensing out of your own pocket. Okay.
Thank you so much
Mhm.
for answering my question. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Brother Naga, before we proceed with you, Queen Yvonne, do you have any question on the chat, please?
No, Sister Debbie. Sorry, Sister Benny, we do not have anything like questions there. A lot of kudos and praises for both Lorato and Brother Michael. No questions though. Thank you.
Thank you. Before again I proceed with you, Brother Naga, does anyone else have questions? Please raise your hands electronically, or you can write your question on the chat. Are you guys excited? You want to share your excitement? If not, I will raise my case. Brother Naga, could you please proceed? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sisters. Sister Dr. Vinny, so cute today. Williamson and Alexa, everyone. I wanted to greet everyone. So long time I know, I know greet. Even I am coming inside meeting. I'm very excited. Very soon we may we may succeed. We may succeed. I think I correctly. No, I don't know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving opportunity. I have no any questions because I am following. Always I am following. I think we should not do anything this time. After new OES come, we can proceed. I think so. Am I right? Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Naga. We appreciate you. We appreciate your excitement, right? Because you love ONPASSIVE. I love ONPASSIVE more than you. Anyway, thank you so much. And if we don't have any other question, I will hand it over to Queen Debbie or Queen Dr. Pai.
Oh my goodness, I'm so predictable. Hi, Brother Mike, I'm so predictable. You know, when they call me like this, you know what I'm going to say. I was not going to do it, but I just have to do it. You've shared so many things today. And when you come and share with us, I actually personally learn a lot. I'm not going to lie. But you've shared so many things. I just want you to just give us a quick juice to take. No, it's 1 month that we get you. We want something that will take it for the month and keep our flame burning until the next time. If you can just give us a quick sum up of what you've said today. What do you want to get us excited about and go home with all the questions that was asked today and a lot of people waiting patiently? Give us something to take home to feed our soul for the month before we get you next month. Thank you, my brother.
Well, okay. We talked about so much, but it always seems to come back to the same thing, though. It comes back to us having the right mindset. You know, um, you know, Dr. Derek echoed what our dear sister started us off with at the beginning, Sister Lorato. I mean, and so many of us, we've come to that conclusion that it is so important, uh, to think the right way, because there is a right way, right? It's not just think whatever you want to think. No, like there is a right way. There's a recipe for success. There's a recipe for success. Some people have been able to attain it, right, during their lifetime. Many have not. And I find the ones who have not, is simply because they don't know what that recipe is, right? You know, a lot of people will tell you that, oh, I'm not negative. They'll tell you, oh, I'm not a pessimist. You know, you know, the reality though is that if we don't get our mind right, it's very difficult to accomplish anything in life, like anything. You know what I mean? Like if you're not thinking, you know, the right way as far as something as simple as walking, you're gonna fall down. You know what I mean? Like you will. I mean, obviously, it's something that we take for granted. We're not there thinking, okay, I need to put my right foot in front of my left. Like you know, we're not thinking like that, right? Because again, it becomes a way of life. Right? Walking is a way of life. Eating is a way of life. You know, what I mean, you don't have to tell yourself, okay, hand, you need to go pick up that spoon or that fork or whatever, or take that food and bring your hand to your mouth and these are things that we just do naturally because it's become a way of life. But when you were a child, when you were a baby, a toddler, whatever, right? You didn't know how to do that. You know what I mean? And so someone had to teach you, right? You wanted to ride that bicycle. You didn't just jump on that bicycle and say, hey, look, mom, look at me, dad, look at me. No, like someone had to teach you how to do it, right? You didn't just get up and say, hey, 2 + 2 is 4. No, like someone had to teach you these things, right? But as you're taught certain things, and you grasp what you've been taught, now you're able to execute, right? But it all comes back to how we think. And so if we're all trying to gain success, if we're all trying to, you know, want to master being financially free, right? Everything always come back to the way we think, right? How do we think about money as an example? Like some people think money is evil, right? And so because they think money is evil, they'll never be financially successful in life. You understand me? Because they just don't have a good relationship with money. You know, some people, no matter how much money they get, it's always just go through their hands. They never seem to can hold on to it, right? There's a reason for that. It's usually because of their mind, right? What they think about it. Like they think it's a bad thing to hold on to. I shouldn't, I shouldn't try to be rich, or it's a sin, or stuff like that. Like people make stuff up, and sometimes we're led astray. People tell us the wrong things. You know what I mean? And so we hold on to the wrong beliefs, right? But the truth of the matter is, it's the love of the money, right? That's the root of the all evil. It's not money itself. You know what I mean? It doesn't say money is the root. Do you understand? It says the love of it, right? So it's the love of it, right? So I don't love money. You know what I mean? I'm not chasing money, right? But money plays a very important role in our day-to-day lives. Okay, try not having money and be able to put food on your table. Try not having money and be able to send your children to school. Try not having money and be able to have a proper roof over your head. You understand? So money is important, right? But obviously, some people put too much of emphasis on it and they're willing to do whatever it takes. This is where the corruption comes in. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get that money. They don't care who they have to kill, who they have to lie about, cheat. It doesn't matter. They're going to cut whatever corners. So many lives have been lost because people cut corners to save money. You know what I mean? Whether it be from a corporate standpoint, an individual standpoint, just society as a whole. Like so many lives have been lost, because of all of this, right? So it comes back to our mind. How do we think? What do we think about on passive? Do we truly believe that it's a solution, right? Do we truly believe that, what? I know it's been taking long, but I still have faith that, we're going to pull through in the end, right? Do I believe that, right? Or do I says, okay, I spent $97. I'll just cut my losses and move on. Let me go find something else, and I'll never look back at on passive. Right? Is that the mindset, right? Or do I understand that sometimes in life things test you? You know what I mean? Things, put you through some situations that make you wonder, my gosh, when will this end? You know what I mean? When will I get my breakthrough? Right? When will I achieve success? When will I finally win? You know what I mean? Right? There are teams that we know of that have gone, let's say, 40 games. They've lost like 40 games. And those individuals that are on those teams are like, man, are we ever gonna win a game? And guess what? Eventually they finally win a game. You know what I mean? Or they're going through a 6-game losing streak or whatever the case may be. Toronto Raptors, right? So this happened in real life to teams. You understand? So it's the same thing here with ONPASSIVE, that some folks are questioning, man, is this thing really going to happen? Where we all led astray? Did we all, fell for some nonsense? Like what? Right? So I say go back to, what you thought ONPASSIVE was. Go back to, what you believed ONPASSIVE would do for yourself, right? And really evaluate and see, right? Do you think that our CEO, this man, would come, right, and show us, his 2 little boys? You know what I mean? Bring them to the forefront. Spend hours upon hours, on webinars with us. Spend money, Burj Khalifa and the different offices and all these things. Give away gifts, laptops and iPhones and what have you, cars, right? Do all of this just to say I'm out of here, just to say I've left the building, right? Or do you look at that and see someone who's been sincere and doing his utmost, to make sure that we can make this thing actually work in a legal, compliant environment, that we don't have any issues with any authorities? Like, is that what we see? Is that what we believe? When we look at some of the folks, I'm including myself, that are um, holding up the banner of ONPASSIVE, saying that yes, this is a viable vehicle, right? This business is feasible, that we'll be able to, acquire the success that we're looking for, right? That this company can actually help billions, not millions with an M, but billions with a B around the world, that we can actually do this and make this work. Is it possible? Is this really, really possible? And my answer comes back every single time with a resounding yes, 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 right? This ONPASSIVE is exactly what we thought it would be, right? Yes, we know that, we want it done like 5 years ago, right? We get all of that. But there's nothing that we can do. We can't wind back the clock. We can't, there's no rewind. You know what I mean? We just have to continue to push forward and understand that we're not going to be here, years of, okay, we got to go 6 more years for this. That isn't the case, folks. It just isn't, right? And obviously, we're all different ages. Some folks are, well, okay, I'm 75 now. I like to see this thing happen, before I go meet my maker. You know what I mean? Before I end up in the ground, right? Again, these are thoughts. These are real thoughts that people have, and I get it. I don't tell you not to have these thoughts. If that's what you're thinking, that's what you're thinking, right? But understand that this business is about generations, right? It's generational, right? So if God forbid, and I don't see it through, you know what? Hey, my children can, you know, they have it to run with. They have it to benefit from, right? You understand me? It's generational. It can pass on from one generation to the next, right? But it can certainly create something that will be there, that we can call it a legacy, that you've been able to leave something that is worthwhile, right? For your children, you know what I mean? And their children. That's what it's all about, right? So I think if people understand that, then the waiting becomes a little bit more easy. You know what I mean? Like we can relax a little bit more. We can be less stressed. We can let go of the expectations. You understand, and really understand that this ONPASSIVE business has taught me a lot. I've this is what, to me, what people should gather from it, right? That I've been able to grow that much more as a person for the better. I've been able to acquaint myself with lots of good people from around the world, from various cultural backgrounds. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good if this is all that happened with OnPassive, there's a lot of good that has come from it, right? Really and truly, all right, a lot of good, right? But we know it's going to be a lot more than that, folks. So don't get sidetracked, okay? Because I just said that, okay? A lot more is going to come from it. But I think we also need to appreciate the little things, right? Appreciate the friendships that we've made through this journey. You understand me? Appreciate the growth that we have, even with the whole mindset concepts and ideas that has been shared by so many, right? I appreciate the fact that, oh, now I know how to do a YouTube video. You know what I mean? Whereas before you didn't know how to do that, right? Now I know, okay, oh, there's a thing called a rotator, and I can do this, and domain names and all this fancy stuff, right? We should appreciate the growth, because it's all that information is what makes us who we are. You know what I mean? And then, of course, what we do with that information. It's one thing to acquire it, but then what's the next step? It's taking action, right? And so I believe that, OnPassive is going to do exactly what OnPassive is set out to do, which is to enrich people's lives, enrich people's lives. You understand? It's going to do that, folks. There is just no doubt, right? It's built for it, it's designed for it, okay? And it's going to accomplish it. So I think if we just continue to hold on, I know it's hard. Of course it is, right? I'll be silly to tell you, well, what do you mean it's hard to? No, being patient, okay? Unless your name is Patience, okay? Being patient is not easy, okay? It really isn't. It isn't easy. And it's not just about OnPassive, it's life. Being paid. You ever see kids and you tell them, okay, I don't want you to touch that. Okay, just wait. Okay, wait until I give you the go ahead, and they're sitting there, and they're getting jittery, and you know what I mean? Or you're going on a trip and they're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we right? It's very difficult to be patient. It really is, right? But we can certainly learn patience. You understand? We can learn it, right? Maybe you didn't have it before, but this business is certainly tested, whether you can be patient or not. It certainly has. And I think a lot of us has grown to the point where we're okay, right? We understand that it's a journey, and we're okay to hold on to see the journey through. But again, it doesn't mean that we need to just turn our back on the entire world, because it's not a cult, right? OnPassive is not a cult. You know what I mean? We're not here to brainwash people and all of that stuff, right? So at the end of the day, right, our dream is still alive. At the end of the day, our dream is still alive. Our hope is still alive, and we're going to see. And our CEO has said it, that when we see the next phase, we are going to be happy. That's what he said. I believe that. I trust the man, right? We are going to be happy. A lot of people are looking for pie in the sky numbers and so on and so forth. But trust me, you will be able to do well with whatever you receive from OnPassive. Absolutely. Absolutely, you will be able to. But again, let's just give it the time that it deserves. You know what I mean? Give it the time that we deserve. And in the meantime, hey, do what you must. Just understand that this company, will help billions, with a B, billions of people worldwide. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the point where, it's not just, 1 point something million account holders, etc. But actually we got millions upon millions of customers coming in, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. This is a business that's driven by customers, right? And so if we put ourselves in a position where we can benefit, remember I talked about leveraging, right? If we can benefit from all of that, then we have something that is so worthwhile to wait for, because it's in our best interest. So let's continue to hang on. Until I see you next time, I thank you guys for having me. And I also want to add that, you guys are great, right? All the, I'm not going to call names, but everyone, all of you who've put this together, all of you who come together, all of you continue to support this platform. You guys are great, because without you guys, obviously the platform wouldn't exist, and people wouldn't have this place to come, every single week, like once a week. You guys have this, right? And that is great. That is being persistent, right? That is being consistent, right? So, you guys need to give yourself a round of applause, a pat on the back, whatever you need to, because, this is, you guys are not normal people. Understand me? Well, you're not, right? A lot of people would just say, can't be bothered. Oh, just wake me up when money's there, wake me up and I'll jump in and you know what I mean? But no, you appreciate the good times, you appreciate the bad times, you know what I mean? You win together, you lose together, you fail together, you cry together, you know what I mean? You smile together, right? You win together, you're happy together. All of that, all the emotions that come with waiting, come with being patient, all the emotions, right? Because we know some people get upset, right? And some people get angry and they lash out and they say things that is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. You know what? Hey, we're all human beings, you know what I mean? And we all go through different things. Sometimes, we're going through some stuff. And so as a result of that, we may not necessarily say, the right thing at the right moment. But the bottom line is, I believe that all of us on here, right, have a big heart and we want to see the company, succeed, right? So that we can do what we've said in the beginning, to bless other people's lives, right? That's why we came together, to see, what can we do for humanity? What can we do for our fellow brothers and sisters? What can we do for a community, right? Or global community? What can we do, right? And so this platform has given us a way and a means to be able to do just that, to be able to assist, to be able to help, because people need help. Even right now, people need help. You know what I mean? Check people's bank account right now. How much money you have sitting in the bank account? Some people may have $10 sitting in their bank account right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people, if that check don't come next week, they're done. You understand me? The bill collectors have been knocking down the door. You know what I mean? Eviction notice and all this crazy stuff. So we get it, right? We get it. But let's tell people, man, just be encouraged. Just be encouraged, knowing that we will get there and we will get there together. All right. So thank you so much for having me. Until next time.
Wow, wow, wow.
Thank you, brother.
Wow, that is me getting blood out of stone or water out of stone. Thank you, Brother Michael. You've said it all. And what I gather, the greatest ingredient in the recipe of success is the mindset. And trust me, people, my name is Patience, but I find patience being difficult. So I am learning it. And one of the people that I've learned patience from ONPASSIVE is our brother here. Okay? Brother Michael Williams. I remember the days of the corporate meetings, and we have the LC members, they'll all be in panel, and he wait patiently. If you want to speak, somebody interrupt, he step back. I'm like, who is this man? He's so patient. And he waits until they give him the turn. So we've learned from each other. We've learned from you a lot. We thank you for coming here at least once a month to support the platform. Thank all of our brand ambassadors for joining, and thank the great coordinators of this platform. Without you, there will be no platform. Thank you, Brother Michael. We're all in it to win it. And I think this is a time that everybody can just unmute themselves and say, in it to win it. And we close for the day because this is great. Our brother has given us something to take home with.
Yes, yes.
Success is your mindset and patience. Trusting the process. Believing in our CEO. If he said wait, wait. Stand. As he said, not because I want to brainwash us, not because we're in a cult, but because we're in something that we believe that is going to come to help us realize that our dream.
Yes.
As I said, if I joined ONPASSIVE and it just came in and got money, I might be one of those lottery winners that won millions and got broke. So God has just made it perfect because we have learned a lot from each other, a lot to think before to be good steward of what they're going to bless us with, and a lot to think that money doesn't really change you. Money amplifies who you are. And we've taken this time to learn from each other what it truly means to uplift humanity. And Brother William, every time you come here, you just remind us of that. We really appreciate you. We're all in it to win it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Williams. We appreciate you. You have a blessed week ahead of you.
So, as Sister Debbie started, there are a lot of platforms. Actually, we keep forgetting Michael William is always with Julie Nguyen on Mondays. That is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Julie's YouTube channel. This great conversation, if you can join them. There you have Miriam Mindset Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join her if you can. Deep dive globally changing life on Tuesdays and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mindset, stay protected. How do we keep how are we safe in the internet these days? Okay, we know a lot of people have lost their when I say account, different things like phone numbers. People have duped them through not understanding how to be safe in the internet these days. So please, the First Lady, Dr. Benny here, is giving a whole series. We're having cybersecurity lesson for free. The Repair Empowering Humanity is on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have One Global Movement. Our sister Yvonne here is one of the big champion. They're working with Dr. Mundi at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our sister and all passions. To be honest, if you don't have any dreams or you cannot think of what you're going to do when on passive launch, go to All Passion. One of the biggest things they talk about is what is your passion. And people are already looking for a way to help each other. Like, let me say, my brother William passion is clean water. My passion is education. I will work with him for clean water. He work with me for education. So that is already happening. We are really gaining something from ONPASSIVE people. This is not a lie. We have the Nigerians All Welfare Initiative that people have heard Pastor Paul share about the ONPASSIVE community. We are already helping each other. We're not waiting until the apples are coming. We've learned that we can start doing things with the little we have. If you cannot do it with the little you have, trust me, you will not be able to do it with the measure you have. Money is not the root of all evil, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. It's how you view money and whether you want to let money to control you or you want to control money. So let's stay protected, let's stay safe. Please just be patient. Whatever they say we should do, if it's not working at the moment, it is coming to your region. I have not gone into my OES. I couldn't do a lot of things. There are some things that are not looking like it's supposed to look for me. But you know what? Not bothered. Because as our brother rightly said, if you have really followed ONPASSIVE, our CEO has never left anybody behind. I know the great job he did with us to let people to recover their account. Okay, so we're all in it to win it. Thank you, Brother Mike. I cannot wait to get you end the year in December. Hope the fire chat will be firing in December. Bye, everyone. In it to win it.
Okay, we're in it to win it.
To win it.
Thank you, Michael.
You can
Come again anytime.
Anytime. In it to win it.
Anytime.
Mama Edith, Brother Michael, let me tell you, when you talk about age, Mama Edith is really, I can't explain what she is doing. Oh my goodness. She is doing a lot in her community in South Africa. She'll make sure they're migrating properly. She's making sure they're coming to meetings. She's holding Zoom meetings to make sure they have understood what is going on, how to subscribe in their account, how to change their. So please, age is not an excuse. Age is not an excuse. Let's animate what Mama Edith is doing. I tell her that she is my inspiration. I'm still going because of her. When I see what she's doing, I'm like, why can I stop at this? So please, everybody's a leader. Let's all work together. Let's make sure we all win together. Thank you.
It's not me, it's the grace. It's the grace
See?
of our Lord.
Wisdom is the grace.
Grace.